Good evening and welcome to week 2 of Friday Night Rivals. He's Chad Brillante, I'm Tommy Thrall. Tonight it is a West Florida Jaguars team sans Adarius Purifoy, one of the best players in the whole area. He's out. It's the Tate Aggies and their high-powered offense today at Woodham Middle School. Chad, how does this West Florida team overcome losing somebody like Purifoy?
It's a tough obstacle to try to overcome one of your best players. Very versatile, Tommy. He can do everything. But in this case, rely on that defense. Coming back, returning a lot of starters, one of the best linebacking cores in all the area, led by Kalia Davis. But it's not going to be an easy task trying to stop three-year quarterback Sawyer Smith in this high-powered offense for the Aggies.
It really is a good offense for Tate. And for more on that, let's welcome in the third member of our team, Ricky Van.
It's a very fast team. Offensively, they are strong. One of the best in the area. They have Sawyer Smith, the quarterback, senior this year, already committed to UCF, so I'm looking forward to seeing how he'll play the ball tonight. Now, on the other side of the field, the defense on West Florida Tech, everybody's talking about it. They're one of the best in the area on defense, so looking forward to seeing how these two teams will match it tonight. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Ricky. Let's take a look at our ace unlocks keys to the game. Chad, I think really one of the biggest keys is going to be for West Florida to figure out a way to overcome the loss of Sawyer Smith of Adarius Purifoy and still have a good offensive attack tonight to go with their defense.
Win the time of possession battle. Keep the game slow pace. Now without Adarius Purifoy, you're going to want to try to keep it low scoring and win this game not turning the ball over. But that's not going to be an easy task against this high-powered, blitz-attacking Aggies defense.
Now on the other side for Tate, kind of the same battle. It's going to be tough for them to generate much offense, you would figure, against a really good West Florida defense.
Yeah, West Florida has one of the best defenses in the area, but if one guy can beat him, Sawyer Smith at quarterback, and a great running back in the backfield, D. Thompson, a guy, Jay Lindsay, the coach of Tate, said one of the best players he's ever had a chance to coach.
Should be a fun one tonight. We'll kick it off next. It's Friday Night Rivals on My 35.
That's not going to be an easy task against this high-powered...
Moments ago, the
Aggies
U.S. Marine Corps coin toss. Great to have the Marines on board with us again. Friday Night Rivals. Tonight it was West Florida who won the toss, but they opted to defer to the second half. So Tate will have the ball to start the game today. Joshua Key and Alondo Tompkins are back deep to return now for the Aggies. We are ready for week 2 of the Friday Night Rivals. Great to have a representative from the Marines on hand for each school tonight. And I tell you what, you look at those stands across the way, the Tate faithful have traveled well here to Woodham Middle. And we've got a great crowd on hand. Look at that.
Beautiful night for football here tonight, Tommy, under the lights. Second week of the regular season. Two of these schools, rich histories with a lot of success. Both teams looking to take their game to the next level into the playoffs, and both of them looking to come off different ways in week 1. A tough loss there for West Florida, but Tate getting that victory against Biloxi.
Alondo Tompkins is going to have the return, and he has room. 2 defenders to beat, and they drag him down near midfield. A huge return for Alondo Tompkins.
Yeah, Tompkins is a guy that's going to get a lot of touches. Had a 58-yard touchdown late in the third quarter last week. And in this case right now, although D. Thompson's the guy that's going to carry the load in the back at the running back position, Tompkins definitely plays a key in this versatile offense.
Tompkins ended up carrying the ball 7 times last week. And here comes that Tate offense, led by the veteran, starting for his 3rd year, Sawyer Smith leads the offense out on the field. Alondo Tompkins in the backfield. He'll also use D. Thompson. Throws out right side. They come out throwing right off the bat and pick up about 7 yards into West Florida territory at the 45. Great reception right off the bat to Jake Henry.
You can see early they're going to want to spread the football, move the ball up tempo. We talked about it before the game, some of the keys. West Florida wants to play this a lower tempo game, but that's not how Sawyer Smith runs this offense. You're going to see a lot of no huddle, hurry up offenses here tonight.
They go Henry's way again, but it's incomplete. It was underthrown for him. It's still second down. Make it 3rd down and about 2. They'll start Madison Lockman, Reggie Payne, and Jake Henry at wide receiver. This is a Tate team. Not only are they very good offensively, but they're a veteran team. This is a very experienced group. They have more seniors on this team than anybody else in the area. And Of course, this is a team that had a lot of success last year. They figure to have a lot more success again this year. High snap. Sawyer Smith has trouble with it, just has to fall on it. And after a big first down play and a huge return, now the Aggies are probably going to have to punt here on 4th and 11.
Great job by the defense. As you can see here, these starting lineups right there in the middle. Kalia Davis and Victor Hill, two of the best linebackers in the area. Huge stop here early for a team that wants to get the ball and win that time of possession battle. That's a huge, huge start to the game.
A big possession for Tate, a chance to drive the ball down the field. West Florida's really a team that's down after losing a Darius Purifoy. It's going to be tough for them to bounce back, not only on the field physically, but also mentally from that. That was a big possession to try to score early. Now Evan Lagasse will punt it. He has a strong leg.
We were watching Lagasse before the game started. No relation to Emerald, but he was kicking the ball 40, 50 yards every time. This guy's got a long leg, and you can see there, one of the best kickers in the area.
Low snap, but he gets a good boot off down to the 25-yard line. And that's where West Florida will start their first possession offensively tonight. And we'll get a chance to take a look at that West Florida offense. They're led out on the field by their quarterback, Eric Antoine. Of course, Darius Purifoy had been their starting quarterback, broke his arm in a couple of places last week. He's going to be out for the year, so now we'll get our first look at Eric Antoine as the signal caller for West Florida.
And you look here, the one good thing that Antoine, when you look at this starting offense, they have a very big offensive line up front, one of the best in the area, returning 3 of 5 on that offensive front. So that's going to be one of the keys. If you're a first starting quarterback guy back there, you want to have a good offensive line so you're not eating grass like Les Miles throughout the game.
Swing it out right side, and it's complete out near the 30. They'll pick up about 4 yards on the first down play.
Nice start to their offensive drive. Like you said, you're going to see a lot of plays inside. They're not going to try to go outside the box, really trying to keep this game, like you said, in the possession favor of the Jaguars here tonight. But it also sets up the big play action. If you can keep those 3-4 yard punches, Tommy, it sets up the big play, and we'll see a strike here soon.
4 wide for the Jaguars, but they hand it off. Fighting for yards, Jalen Allen really unable to pick up anything there as he was wrestled down out to the right side. It'll bring up 3rd down. He might have lost a yard on the play.
Nicknamed Tubbs by Coach Harry Lee's, a guy that you can tell he's one of those guys that's going to go right at you, not afraid to run you over. And with a big 3rd down coming, this is going to be one of the keys right here.
Looks like he's toned up a little bit this year. Allen out of the backfield again. Antoine's in the shotgun. Tate showing blitz. Deep ball down the side, and it is complete. Down the sideline to Damon Johnson. Deep into Tate territory at the 35.
And that's one of the keys right there. You keep the ball inside, 2-3 yards there, 2-3 yards here, and then you can strike with the play action. And that's one thing. Great pass. That's the first we saw with Eric Antoine, and that will start an Academy Sports and Outdoors 1st and 10.
Big play there for the Jaguars. And they march deep into Tate territory at the 33. They fake the give again to the outside. And again, it's Johnson at the 25. Tackled down by Dallas Ditto. He is a tackling machine. He was one of the top 2 in the area last year in tackles. And he is the true leader of this defense. He just knows how to find the football.
Good stop there by Ditto, but you look back at a guy like Johnson. Sometimes quarterbacks starting their first game have to find a guy they rely on. And early in this game, 2 big completions. That looks like Damon Johnson's that guy.
Hand off up the middle. Allen trying to bounce it to the outside. Only needed a yard on that 2nd down play. They're close to it. See if they bring out the chains.
So far, Eric looks really good on his first drive, though. You say, we talked about a Darius Purifoy. That seemed to be the big story before the game. But for the first drive, you stop Tate. They're on the road. You get the crowd into it. And that's not an easy thing to do against Sawyer Smith. Then you turn around and you've moved the ball already 50 yards down the field with a chance here after the measurement for maybe another first down. This has been a very good start for a West Florida team here in front of their home crowd.
Yeah, you know that they can, they're going to come up with some big stops on defense. The question is, can they put enough points on the board? And, well, they're off to a good start here. And they're just short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and short.
You can see the official right there, the white cap checking the ball, and it looks like it's the right PSI as well, Tommy. So no deflated footballs.
You were down there checking those before the game.
Making sure nobody was going to get a 4-game suspension and then have it nullified.
That wouldn't hold up anyways. So it's 3rd down, a very short yard to go here. Ball just past the 25 in Tate territory. Antoine once again out of the shotgun, has 4 wide. Damon Johnson spread out wide to the right. They'll pitch it out, left side, cutting upfield. Allen has the first down this time near the 20. And Tate having trouble stopping this West Florida offense right now, and that gets the Jaguars into the Papa John's delivery zone. Don't forget that promo code RIVALS. 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, $7.99 each. Oh, excuse me, $7.77 each. That's my bad.
And get that 22 cents back.
Yeah. Can't short somebody a couple pennies there. Throwing it on first down towards the end zone, incomplete. Had a receiver out that way, but it's just a little too much.
One of the things early that I like to see on that last possession, that big 3rd down play where they needed to pick up the yard, the Tate defense loaded up 7 in the box, and Eric looked over the offense, and Antoine decided to check off an audible, and they decided to run the ball on the outside. That was a huge play right there, because if they would have gone up the middle, more than likely, loading that box from that Aggies defense, they wouldn't have picked up the first down. Already, not only good job with his arm, but he's using his smarts right now, and that's something a young quarterback you don't always see.
He is a junior, but getting some valuable experience here. Antoine again out of the shotgun, this time 3 receivers to his right, fakes the give again. Oh, there was a little miscommunication there. It looked like Javen Jackson might have got, he was running a short route, and it looked like Antoine was looking deep.
The good news is Antoine threw it far enough where it couldn't have been picked. That was one of those plays that it had disaster written all over it, but at the same time, nobody caught it. So at this point, you still put your team in a chance to at least get points on this drive, whether it's 3 or 6.
Again, 4 wide, Allen in the backfield. Antoine throwing over the middle, incomplete. Again, looked like he had a receiver this time over the middle, but threw it a little too tall.
Great defense right there over the middle. Jake Henry and Reed Halfiser just all over that play. And so far, that was a big stop right there after West Florida moved the football down over 60 yards on their first possession. It looks like right now they're going to have themselves in a predicament here on 4th down.
They have a little trust in Taylor Lopez, their kicker, but it looks like they want to go for it here on 4th down. Still 4th and 10. They need to get it to about the 10 for a first down. Antoine to throw. It's a screen set up for Allen. Allen puts his head down, has the first down inside the 10. Everybody was looking deep.
Great play there, getting it into the hands of Allen, one of the more reliable players on the team, and a guy that, once he caught it, made things happen right there. Huge first down, and that's another 3rd down conversion so far. This Jaguars offense 2 for 2 on their 3rd down conversions.
They really like him catching the ball out of the backfield. That was something he was working on a lot last year, was working on his hands so he could do that more often. It worked out well there on the screen. So now it's 1st and goal inside the 10. Antoine fakes the give, fires one too tall, looking for Damon Johnson.
Like the play call right there. Some people, if you're a Seattle Seahawk fan watching at home, that might bring back some nightmares of a goal line play, but that's one that you keep the defense on their toes. And this is really a team that has come out here and changed up the offense. Sometimes you see a team losing their starting quarterback and they rely heavily on their run game. This has been one of the most balanced attacks and really changing things up.
Fumble snap, but Antoine able to fall on the football. That could have been devastating there for the Jaguars, but they retain possession. They lose a couple of yards, back near the 10.
Good job by the defensive front there. Caleb Campbell and Logan McGuffey up there on the stop, all over that. And good job so far by this Tate defense, being up to the task and bringing up another tough 3rd down.
3rd and goal from the 9, in and out of the hands, incomplete. Well, he went right through the hands Looked like maybe Jordan Jones there attempting that reception.
Nice pass right there, just right through the hands. That would have been a great catch as well. But now another tough dilemma as we bring up a 4th down. You drive all the way down the field, and I think Coach Lees is doing the right thing. You don't want to move the ball 65 yards down the field, Tommy, and end up with no points. So give your team a chance. Take the early lead at home with 5:58 remaining and get 3 on the board.
And it looks like Taylor Lopez boots it through and gets the Jaguars on the board first. West Florida striking first here on Friday Night Rivals. They take a 3-0 lead. Tate will get it when we come back. My 35. Well, Tate had a chance to put some points on the board. They were moving the ball quickly in their first possession, but it's West Florida that strikes first today. They're up 3-0.
And so far, though, this has played in their favor. We talked about it. They don't want to play in a shootout. And being able to take about 8 minutes off the clock and now have an early lead, it might only be 3 points, but that's a huge win there for West Florida, taking the early lead at home and taking this high-powered Tate offense out of it. The best way to beat a team that has a quarterback that has been your starter for 3 years, keep them off the field.
Valid point. So Tate will get it as Lopez kicks it deep and kicks it Tompkins' way. It's going to go over his head and out of the end zone. So touchback. And Tate will have it first down and 10 at the 25-yard line.
Led by quarterback Sawyer Smith. He is committed to Central Florida, my alma mater, UCF. And in this case right here, though, Tommy, this is a guy that definitely, when you look at where they are, tough loss yesterday to the FIU Panthers.
It is first and 10 from the 20. Sawyer Smith leading his troops out there and fakes the handoff. Throws instead wide open over the middle to Jake Henry. He's down to the 40, and the flag flies in late. We'll see what the flag is here.
Yep. Face mask. Defense. 5 yards at the end of the run.
Attack on 5 more yards.
And in high school, the rules, there still is a 5-yard penalty. In the NFL, college football, they've moved to a 15-yard personal foul on all face masks. But in high school, still the rule, they can tack on 5 if it's not flagrant.
Smith hands it off inside. Thompson with the carry. Gets it to the outside now. Thompson still on his feet and out of bounds inside the 35.
Yeah, you look at Orlando Tompkins, this is a guy really that can move the football with ease, and they can change it up. D. Thompson's a guy that can run right over you, and then Tompkins on the other side can make big things happen. Having that versatility, but Thompson, a guy, like we said last week, a 60-yard touchdown to cap off the Aggies' scoring win, and an amazing player, one of the best that Coach Jay Lindsey's ever had a chance to coach.
19 yards a carry last week for Thompson. And Thompson again gets the ball and picks up a couple of more yards out of the 35.
And he's a guy that's going to go right at you. And why not? When you're 6'3", you can tell bigger than most quarterbacks out there. 6'3", 230-pounder. This is the kind of guy that's going to go steamrolling right into the interior of that defense. And 3 yards, not a bad pickup.
Tompkins and Thomas in the backfield on 2nd down and 6. Throw goes left side, nearly picked off. It was thrown behind Madison Lockman. And the Jaguars had a great opportunity for an interception there, which, again, could have squelched another, what looks to be a pretty good drive here from Tate.
Big play right there that it didn't go back to the house for 6, like you said. That ball just a little bit underthrown. And when you look at where they're at right now, there was 2 defensive backs, including number 14, Tino Espinoza, back there, just hungry for a pick 6.
He was among the team leaders in interceptions last year. Smith wants to throw it under pressure, though. Hit and gets back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll bring up 4th down and 8.
And you're right at that area where you look at it. 4th and 8's a lot to pick up, but being right at the 35-yard line, it's too long for a field goal. We'll make it a 53-yard attempt. So, Tommy, you'll probably see the offense stay on the field.
Which is just outside of Evan Legasse's range. He's pretty comfortable between 50 and 52 yards, but he'll boot 57-yarders like it's nothing in practice. But at this point of the game, no reason to risk it. It's 4th down, about 8, short 8, long 7. Sawyer Smith's out of the shotgun, takes the snap, 1 man in the backfield. He's chased out of the pocket, flag flies, Smith directing traffic, gets rid of it, throws deep, and it is intercepted in the end zone.
Now in this case right here, great play by the defense. Tino Espinoza coming up with the pick, but it's actually going to cost the team if they decline this, which you think they will. It looks like more than likely this is going to be a hold. Anytime you see your quarterback scrambling back, it is a hold on the offense. The only problem is, great pick, but on an incompletion, you would have got the ball at the 35. Right. Because of that, the touchback's going to take it out there to, I believe, the 25-yard line.
Holding.
And a little bit different.
Offense. Penalties decline.
Shedrick Robinson going up to pull down the interception. Either way, they'll take the pick and they'll take the ball back. Of course, they would have had it anyways, as you mentioned, but always feels a little better to get that interception.
It's hard to tell a kid not to catch the football. And you know Tino's one of these guys that at the end of the year is going to be up for a lot of awards on defense. He's always a guy back there lurking for the big play. And you can't tell a kid like that not to catch the football. That's what you practice every day. It might cost them a few yards, but at the end, that's what the refs are discussing right now. They're huddling up, talking about where to put the football. But overall, great defensive stop. Once again, West Florida up to the task, and now they're bringing it back to the 20 after the touchback. So they're going to lose 15 yards, but at the same time, a huge stop when it looked like this Tate offense was building momentum.
Eric Antoine did a nice job leading the Jaguars down the field for their first score. They had to settle for 3. But it was a great first drive for West Florida. Antoine in his junior year. Almost intercepted over the middle.
Great defensive play right there.
Alante Thompson knocking it down. He's Dee's brother. He was a running back last year, but this year being used as a defensive end, and he's probably the strongest kid on the team and can really put some pressure on quarterbacks as well. But right there, he bats that pass down. You could see him frustrated. He didn't pull it down.
Very versatile defensive end. One of those hybrid players that can play linebacker or end, and a lot of speed coming off over there off the right tackle.
Incomplete to the outside. That was, it looked like in the hands of Malik Jenkins, but broken up.
Good defensive play by the senior Trace Penton, who was on top of that one, able to break that play up, and Jake Henry coming in as well for the big hit.
Jake Henry, you'll hear his name a lot, plays both sides of the ball, never comes off the field. He is a gamer. Lives for football. Antoine on 3rd down. Looking deep and incomplete. Great coverage. Once again, there's Jake Henry, or Joshua Key right in the mix, knocking that pass down.
Key, a returning starter. He's a senior, moved around on the field, and a guy that also plays baseball for this Aggie squad. But Tommy, that was an incredible play right there. Because the wide receiver was shielding him off for the play, and usually, especially as a shorter cornerback, you're going to get a PI call. He did that as good as it gets to stop them and make West Florida punt.
So West Florida will punt it away. It'll be Lopez. High snap, gets the boot away. Fair catch called for back at the 40-yard line by Jake Henry. We'll go to a break. The Aggies will have it back on offense. 3-0 West Florida, 3:09 to go, first quarter. Tate has it 1st and 10, just past the 40-yard line. It'll be Sawyer Smith to throw it. Under pressure, though. Smith wrestled way back at the 25-yard line. Some great pressure coming from Victor Hill. He was the sacks leader last year, well on his way again this year. West Florida just wrapping up their second possession on offense. And for more, down on the sidelines to Ricky Van. Ricky.
Hey guys, down here what we're noticing with a little less than 3 minutes left to the first quarter, we're seeing Antoine throwing the ball to the right. Whether he's more comfortable throwing it there, we don't know, but that's what we're noticing, the ball moving more to the right. As we see, back to you guys.
Thanks, Ricky. That's something that you figure the defense will key in on after a while.
Yeah, good observation right there.
And it looks like the Jaguars want a timeout. It's a huge sack by Victor Hill, and it sets up a second down mileage play. They need to go all the way to the 49 for a first down. They're back at their own 30. That was a huge play. Getting a look at the Jaguars defensive backs coach there. There's a little bit of family lineage here between both the West Florida team and Tate. Neil Summerford is actually the father of Wesley Summerford, who coaches the linebackers of Tate. Well, he used to coach over at West Florida. Then it came time to find a teaching job. They didn't have any openings at West Florida, so he goes over to Tate. Now he's coaching across the way from his brother Rhett and his dad Neil over there. So
got family members everywhere. I'm sure there's a couple in the stands as well. And that's always a great thing to see. Same thing, you see Coach Jay Lindsay, the head coach of Tate, his father, one of the great coaches in the area from Pace, Mickey Lindsay. And you see so many ties to this area. Really one of the cool things about watching football here in the Pensacola area.
Jay said outside of his dad, the coach that he's probably closest to is the guy he's going head-to-head with tonight. Harry Lees used to coach, and not only coach, but he also taught Jay Lindsay while Jay was playing for his dad at Pace. Of course, Harry Lees used to coach along with Mickey Lindsay there at Pace. So you talk about ties everywhere. Not only do the players have a lot of connections on the field. I mean, a lot of these guys hang out together in the summertime. They know each other. They play on other teams together. They spend a lot of time together. So there's a lot of common ground on the field, but also on the sidelines with the coaches.
Yeah, these teams know each other really well, from the coaching staff to the players, and you can see it in the way that they play with so much energy, especially here early on.
Sawyer Smith connects near the sideline and out of bounds. Jake Henry on the reception.
And this is what West Florida's defense wants. You can pick up a couple yards here. The penalty costs them, move them back, but they just don't want the big play. That's one thing. Sawyer, a guy that can play baseball. He's got that strong arm as we take a look at the Bob Tyler Toyota replay. Good pass right there, but they'll give up 6-7 yards to the sideline. They just don't want that big strike that we saw so many times out of this Aggies offense last week against Biloxi.
Still 3rd and long, and Sawyer Smith again wrapped up and dragged down. Another sack on this possession, and this time it's a Darius McWilliams, 6'1", 244. He had a couple of sacks last year in his freshman year. He's just a sophomore, folks.
Yeah, he's scary right there when you got great size like that, a sophomore, and you can tell breaking through the line. He's bigger than most of the linemen on Tate and just went right through, got right to Smith, and when he got to him, made a good job of taking down the big quarterback.
This is a very good Tate offense that West Florida has really contained so far tonight.
It's incredible when you look at it, and this is exactly one of the keys we talked about before the game. If West Florida was going to win, they didn't want to move the ball up and down and try to play back and forth. By slowing the tempo of the game, they've caught a no-huddle offensive Tate off guard. And so far, that linebacking core and that defensive front, the front seven for this West Florida team, as they're able to jump back on that, from a huge chance right there. The Aggies could have got a turnover, but when you look at this West Florida defense, it's been the key so far to the first quarter.
Jaguars falling on it. Malik Jenkins getting in there and recovering the loose football, and now the Jaguars have it. A little bit of field to go. I mean, not terrible field position really there at the 33. Minute 11 left here in the first quarter of play. Take another look. It was a low snap. Lagasse still able to get off a fairly good punt, but a huge hit, and Jenkins coughed it up. I don't think that was Jenkins that fell on it. Handoff goes up the middle for nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 now. Under a minute to go here in the first quarter.
Nice stop there by number 44, Dalen Creighton, as well as number 21, Shakir Campbell, in on the tackle.
Antoine's been out of the shotgun all night. Ricky Van down on the sideline saying that he's been going to his right mostly tonight. We'll see if that continues on this drive. Somebody jumped. See who this is on.
Looks like number 63, Caleb Campbell.
Prior to the snap, encroachment, defense.
So Campbell was the one that jumped.
Usually, if you want to know who did it, it's the guy that's running quickly to the sidelines to talk to the coach.
It wasn't me, Coach, I swear. Stacked receivers each side. Quick strike out to the right to Jenkins. Jenkins shuffles his way down inside the 45 near midfield.
Malik Jenkins, a guy, when he gets the ball in open space, he can make a lot of things happen. He's a game changer right there. And you can tell, as Ricky was talking about, Antoine continues to look on the right-hand side. And when you got Jenkins over there, why not? Big pickup, moving the chains for a first down.
Right about midfield. Again, going with the stacked receivers. This time it's a quick toss out to the left side. Tried to catch it on one hop. Doesn't quite work that way, though. Devin Abrams on the attempted reception there, but it's incomplete.
Great basketball bounce pass, but just a little bit short right there, and attacked the left-hand side that time.
Yeah, and he didn't look comfortable, did he?
Mm-mm.
And that was probably the weakest throw he's had so far, and it came to his left side. He's been strong to the right side. Damon Johnson and Malik Jenkins are the stacked receivers to the near side. Abrams split wide to the left. Now he'll send Jackson out. Fakes it right, goes deep. He's got Johnson. Johnson, a diving attempt, but it's incomplete. Josh Key was covering him down there, but if he pulls that in, they're inside the Papa John's delivery zone with a chance to add more points on the board as we head to the second quarter. But we've played one. It's West Florida with the field goal advantage on Friday Night Rivals. Chad and I are back on My 35. Friday Night Rivals brings us to Woodham Middle School as we begin the second quarter. It's West Florida with the early advantage. They're up 3. And they have the ball. And Antoine chased down from behind. Shakir Campbell, the first one to get in there and drag him down for the sack.
Yeah, you look at that play right there, Tommy. I think that the Aggies defense, led by Coach Paul Tripley, former Alabama Crimson Tide player who played for Coach Bear Bryant, you can see they're bringing a lot of blitzes on the right-hand side, forcing Antoine to move to his left, where Ricky talked about it earlier, seems to be uncomfortable. Right. So make him roll out to the left-hand side, and it was hard for him to try to move. I think that was a key that we see this Aggies defense picking up on.
And now they're forced to punt. Campbell's a good story. This is a kid that, you know, when he started playing was only about 120 pounds. He's about 170 now as a senior. Pretty good return set up here. And Jake Henry is down near the 40 as flags fly in from everywhere.
That was a late hit right there. They're going to tack on 15 yards after the play. But that kick was just low enough where there was an opportunity for Tate to take it back and picking up some yards. And now it looks like we're going to move it 15 more.
That'll set up some pretty good field position here for the Aggies. They haven't been able to do a whole lot offensively so far in this game. They've moved the ball down a couple of times. They've, been able to pick up some big chunks of yards, but they just haven't been able to sustain a drive yet.
And they're still having the conversation as we'll send it down to the Whitecap for the official call.
After the play, personal foul, receiving team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, that's a head scratcher. Somebody said something they probably shouldn't have, I'm guessing.
Well, I think they didn't call the hit then, because the hit obviously we saw was on West Florida. It must have been something afterwards getting up in the face.
Could have been a retaliation. Yeah. I mean, the hit you saw could have been a retaliation from what actually drew the flag. Hard to say. Of course, then you usually have offsetting, but at any rate, it's Tate that gets dinged for it. They're marched back 15 yards. They'll start it at about the 22. 1st and 10. They hand it off inside. How about the strength of D. Thompson? Just keeping it on the ground and picks up 4 yards there. Didn't look like he'd have a chance to go anywhere. Just kept those legs churning.
Well, you look at it, he's a guy that can go right over you, but the problem is it's hard to go over 9 players. And West Florida, in that case, had their whole defense in the box, led by Cedric Robinson, the 6'3" corner.
And he still ends up with about 6 yards. 2nd and 4. Rolling out, Smith keeps it, needs a block, got it. Across the 40, still in bounds, across midfield, and dragged down and out of bounds by Cedric Robinson as the flag comes in.
And they're going to tack on some more. He did step out of bounds about 6 yards before the penalty. Now the case there is West Florida didn't know he was out of bounds, and you're going to get a personal foul call. Unfortunate for this Jags defense.
Right. Well, I don't think they're the only one. He didn't think he was out of bounds. How was West Florida to know he was out of bounds? That's one of those tough calls. It's all about player safety, but
personal foul.
So tough to enforce.
Face mask.
Oh, it's a face mask anyway.
Defense.
So
15 yards added to the end of the run. First down.
When you think about it, they moved back this Aggies offense 15 yards to start, so they get that back. And this is one of the key drives because, as we said earlier, we don't expect this to be a high-scoring game. So a team that can put up a touchdown now might be leading going into half.
And especially the way Tate looks like they've been able to slow down the West Florida offense. Sawyer Smith out of the shotgun with 3 wide. Hands it off, left side. Tompkins has room. He's down near the 30. Orlando Tompkins had 7 carries last week. And as we talked about, he had the 58-yard touchdown run late in the 3rd quarter last week, which was a big blow in that game. He really broke out last year. This year he's got a little more riding on him, and he knows what's expected out of him.
Nice tackle by the linebacker, Corey Marino, the junior, in on the play.
Smith keeps it, cuts it back inside. He'll take a hit. He's not afraid, and he's near the first down, close to the 20.
That's just another element to this Aggies offense, right when it looks like you got to stop a guy like D. Thompson. Then they switch it up with Tompkins, and they can hit the big strike with a guy downfield like Jake Henry. You've got a guy in Sawyer Smith that can take it off, and he's done a great job tonight with that read option play.
They got the first down at the 21. 3 wide, including Lockman and Henry out to the near side. Instead, it's D. Thompson on the ground. He's across the 15, inside to the 14-yard line. And again, close to a first down.
Thompson's a guy that has D1 talent written all over him, 6'3", 230 pounds. And one thing that he's already learned, continue to keep the legs moving. That's one of the keys. He picks up more yards, that yak stat we love to talk about after contact, than almost anyone in the area.
High snap, Tompkins gets the carry, has the first down, looking for the end zone, and he is just short of the end zone. Down at the 1.
Bring it into the Papa John's delivery zone, where you can use the promo code RIVALS to get 2 large pizzas, 2 toppings for $7.77 each. Use that promo code RIVALS at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Chad still owes somebody a pizza. Out of the
I
shotgun.
announced that last week.
I'm sure you did. Sawyer Smith rolling out, looking for the corner of the end zone, and he's in. Sawyer Smith using his legs to find the end zone. And the Aggies are on top with their first touchdown of the night.
Big play right there from one of their leaders, Sawyer Smith. He's been starting since his sophomore year. And once again, he has just made every right decision on the read option. Really tough when you got a guy like Thompson, when you know that the 230-pound running back trying to get in from the 5, you expect the ball to go to Thompson, which gave Sawyer Smith that room, and using that speed on the outside to put up the touchdown.
And Lagasse boots it through. Aggies are on top. It is 7-3 with 8:45 to go in the first half. And Chad, as you mentioned, a touchdown at this point of the game could be huge, and we'll talk more about that when we come back. Aggies are up 7-3, 8:45 to go, first half. You're watching Friday Night Rivals on My 35.
They are West Florida Cabinets Incorporated.
Evan Lagasse to kick it deep with his Aggies up 7-3 on the Jaguars. Lagasse boots about 90% of his kickoffs out of the back of the end zone, and this one looks like it could be as well. And there it goes in the end zone. I'll have it at the 20. West Florida will to start this drive. Now they are looking up at a 7-3 score. And Chad, Tate has really zoned in defensively. They're keying in on Eric Antoine a little more, putting a little more pressure on him. He certainly didn't look as comfortable on the Jaguars' last possession.
And I think that's a thing to take a look at, Tommy, on this drive. See how many people they load the box on that right-hand side. If they force them to move to the left, because this is the biggest task, now they're down. It's a little different to have the lead. You're sort of poised. You got the crowd behind you. Now this is the first time that Antoine's been the quarterback this year down. And we'll see how he gets back and recovers from this 4-point deficit now to this Tate offense.
Quick strike to the right. Won't go anywhere. That'll bring up second down. Completes it, but quickly out to the right side.
And once again, this Aggies defense doing a great job of containing, not allowing the big play. Really doing a great job on their cover 2 and not allowing anything downfield.
Vince Wibb's fan cam, the folks from Tate packing the stands across the way tonight. Good rivalry matchup between these two. It was Tate that won it last year. This game was week 1 a year ago. Out to the left side and incomplete. It's through the hands of the receiver, Malik Jenkins.
Once again, they're trying to get the ball out quick. The Aggies defense bringing a lot of pressure on the quarterback, Antoine, and forcing him to get it out quicker than he probably wants to, bringing up another third down. And West Florida, this is going to be a key play right here because a couple incomplete passes stopping the clock. You don't want to give this Aggies offense on that high after they scored the touchdown, the ball back with another opportunity to build on their lead.
It's 3rd and 10. Need to pick up some big yards here. Antoine back to pass and under pressure, gets rid of it quickly over the middle, has a first down. Out to his running back, Jalen Allen. So Allen out of the backfield picks up the first down on that reception, a 10-yard strike to the 30. It's Academy Sports and Outdoors 1st and 10 now for the Jaguars.
Go back to what's been working. Allen's been a guy that you can trust, really likes to catch the ball out of the backfield. He is a running back, but he does almost everything, and with the loss of Purifoy, Allen was the guy that Coach Harry-Lee's talked about needed to step up and make big plays on offense.
Antoine back to pass again. Incomplete as he throws it short to the right. Looking for Damon Johnson. 2nd and 10.
Not a bad idea. About a 10-yard out route. It was there, just a little bit short, and that will bring up 2nd down and 10. But I think it's a great play call. That was probably one of the deeper throws they've done today. And you've got to move the football 3-4 yards. Eventually, this Tate defense is too good. They're going to make the big play. I like the play call, just a little underthrown.
Feels like Eric Antoine spending less time in the pocket. He's trying to get rid of it a little quicker. Back to pass again. Dumps it off, trying to haul it in Allen, but it's through his hands. Looking for the short pass over the middle there, but Allen just couldn't bring it in. It was thrown behind him just a little bit.
And I think this is something we're going to see build throughout the season. Remember, this is his first week. Throughout the whole entire offseason, your two-a-days when you're working out, Darius Purifoy is going through the drills with this offensive line. He's gelling with the guys, and all of a sudden now you throw Antoine in, who looks in that first drive looked very poised, but you're going to see this guy, the execution's going to be there. That was a great play call. The screen pass was set up. They had 2 offensive linemen in front. That could have gone for 20, 25 yards just to throw a little bit off.
Other side of that coin, he's also been in this system for a while. He's fairly familiar with it. Harry Lee's system doesn't really change quarterback to quarterback. Has a pass and a completion out to the outside here, and down along the sideline, Devin Abrams. Still well short of the first down. It's going to bring up 4th and about 7. But it's a system that's been in place now since Harry Lee's has been there. So that much, it doesn't matter necessarily who the quarterback is. You just have so many more weapons with the Darius Purifoy. Make no mistake, he's tough to replace, but at the same time, you still feel like you can plug some guys in to execute the game plan.
Well, ever since Harry Lee's took over the job here for West Florida, the Jaguars' offense has been one of the best. Really made a huge splash when they were 1-2 a couple years back against Catholic, and they had all those great games. Then last year, after a tough loss to Tate, they reeled off 9 straight wins. Right. This is a team that they learn from their mistakes. That's one of the best parts of a Coach Lee's team, is they're going to get better each and every week. And with Antoine's first game at quarterback, I think, like we said, they might not have the most offensive firepower we are going to see here tonight. It's going to be tough for them to put up a lot of points, but as the season progresses, you're going to see this team under him grow.
That punt's a short one to the 35, but again, a fumbled snap. Aggies scoring a touchdown, the game's only touchdown on their last possession. They'll have it 1st and 10 from the 35. Here's they bring the ball out, second time that they've had the ball here in the second quarter.
Let's give some credit, too, to this Aggies defense. You get down early 3-0 on the road, and so far they've come back with 5 straight stops and really picking up their speed and their energy. A very senior-led defense that's really showing up here tonight.
Smith with a lot of time as a flag flies. He's looking deep. The pass is intercepted by Tino Espinoza down to the 20. Espinoza pulls in the interception, but the flag back at the 30. We'll see if it's coming back.
I believe this was a hold, so it looks like the play will stay. They're probably going to decline this penalty as Smith right there. Sometimes you see the penalty in the backfield and you feel like it's a free play.
Holding.
But this time it's going to cost them as West Florida quickly gets the ball back. Good news, the way he threw it, it's almost just like a punt.
We talked about Tino Espinoza and how many interceptions he had. A ton of them last year. Led the team, and another one here tonight as we get a look at the Vince Wibbs fan cam. That re-energizes the home faithful here at Woodham Middle.
Great crowd on here tonight, Tommy, and both these teams very similar colors, so you're going to have a lot of fans walking up, hugging each other, and then looking down and be like, wait, whoa, back up there, back up.
It's the Aggies up by 4, 7-3, 6:25 to go first half. Friday night rivals on my 35. Aggies are on top. It is 7-3. West Florida has it after the Tino Espinoza interception. West Florida hasn't scored since their first possession of the game when they had to settle for a field goal after marching the ball down the field. Abrams gets the carry on the first play on this series. Picks up a couple of yards out near the 30.
And I think if you're West Florida, try to go back to that running game. You don't have to look up at the scoreboard being down by only 4 points and panic. Try to use this drive. If you can take 4 or 5 minutes off this drive and not give this Tate offense much time back and get some type of points on the board, you've got to be pleased.
This time, Javon Jackson on the reception. He's down at out of bounds at the 35, awfully close to the first down, just about a yard short. It'll bring up 3rd and 1. This is more what they were doing on that first possession. Short passes, run the ball, chew up yards, and that's what opened up the big play for them.
Yeah, get it out early. This Tate defense brings too much pressure. They're not going to give you a lot of time to throw. So if you're Antoine, the best thing you can do is get it out of your hand quickly. And so far in this possession, they've moved the ball up a couple yards at a time, and it's already taken off a minute off the clock.
Antoine's out of the shotgun. Still plenty of time here in this first half. There's 5:45 left. Quick strike to the outside. Jackson hit immediately at the 35 as he takes the pass. He was lit up pretty good by Monty Brown. Played for PHS last year. His family moved into the Tate district. Big guy out there at 6'2", but couldn't get to him before the first down.
Monty was all over that, and this is one thing with this defense in the backfield. When you look at the guys like Jake Henry, Monty Browns, they're all over it. You talked about Dallas Ditto earlier in the middle. This is a defense, guys like Alante Thompson up front, they've played together for a long time. You can see they're just on the same page.
Antoine with time, unloads incomplete. He was looking for Mike Moore.
And this is something it's going to take a little time. Like you said, you can tell the routes right now. I mean, that wasn't a terribly thrown ball, just a few steps away from Moore. These guys, it's going to take them a little while to work because they've been with Purifoy for so long. Some chemistry is not one of those things that you can build overnight.
Especially with quarterbacks. I mean, you got to learn the timing of your receivers. Everybody's timing's a little different.
Played a whole career, Tommy, and never got timing. But some guys, you just wake up and you find it. This is a quarterback that's got a good arm. You can tell that wasn't a bad thrown ball. It just was off. They weren't on the same page.
4 wide for Antoine. He's got a man deep, but it's incomplete, overthrown. Javon Jackson was the deep man there, but over his head.
And we talked about it, Tommy. These aren't wobbling ducks. These aren't passes that you watch and it's hitting the peanut vendor in the 5th row. These are passes that you can tell right there. That's a play where you're trying to find out the speed. That's a ball that some receivers, the difference between a guy that runs a 4.3 and a 4.5, that's a touchdown, 6 to the house, or an incomplete pass. And these are things that Antoine, working with more time with the starting unit, will have an opportunity to figure out.
3rd down, 10. Back to throw. Bobbled, but incomplete. Good coverage. That would have been awfully tough for Javon Jackson to haul that one in. He was getting crushed from both sides.
Good job by Connor Coughlin in on that play, as well as Trace Penton. As Coughlin coming over, he was a starter at safety last year, moved to linebacker, but you can see a linebacker that has a lot of respect in the secondary from his receiving corps, and you can tell right there, came up with the big play. 3 guys in there, and once again, this Tate Aggies secondary doing a great job.
Billy Kaiser forced to punt again. High snap, pulls it down. How about that boot? What a punt. Inside the 20, inside the 10, near the 5. Billy Kaiser with a great boot down near the 5-yard line, though spotted at about the 7. Holy smokes. That was a beauty, even after the high snap.
Incredible kick right there. That was one of those bullets. There's nothing you can do, and special teams has been one of the key, and especially when you're going to keep the score low in a game. So far, you have 2 very good special teams, and they're coming to play here tonight.
So now it's the Aggies back on offense. They'll reset it to 4-10. Aggies' last drive consisted of 1 play, an interception. That was the follow-up to their touchdown.
Head officials having too much fun adding 16 more seconds here.
Yeah, let's stay here all night. Nowhere to be. Nothing else to do. We're still working to get that clock reset.
Apparently the scoreboard operator is like, yeah, I heard you, but
it's a difficult task.
Please reset the game clock to 4:10. 4 minutes, 10 seconds, please.
2 very polite ways to say it.
Yes.
I think if it goes 3, we might see a little more energy coming from the man in white.
They're close. We're still about 10 seconds off. Worst part is, too, you're the scoreboard operator, you're the clock operator, you know everybody's watching.
They just sort of played let's make a deal there. He wanted 4:10. They had 3:54. He's coming back at it. There's one more time.
Deal or no deal.
Now
here.
he's putting his hands up. We were getting signals from him.
Well, let's talk about this first half. I mean, we really, West Florida looked very impressive. Their first possession, they came out, scored right away. They were able to dominate that Tate offense for so long. It was kind of a bend but don't break approach. Tate finally gets through, but so far they've really slowed down the West Florida offense. Flags fly everywhere, so there go the 10 seconds we just added back on.
And I think that goes to show that both of these defenses, Tommy, are going to be two of the better defenses in the area all year long. Last week we had a game between Pine Forest and PHS that we had over 70 points. This year you're looking at, in this game, this week you're looking at two teams that are going to have defenses that are going to keep their team in every single game.
So it's 1st and 15. Handoff left side. Helmets off. They picked up the penalty yards, and now it's going to bring up 2nd down, about 9 as they get 6 back after the penalty. So it'll bring up 2nd down. They fake the handoff. Smith rolling out, gets rid of it, bobbled, but hauled in. Nice catch by Reggie Payne. He fumbled with it for a moment before he was able to haul that in. That's going to bring up 3rd down. They are still about 4 yards short of the 1st down.
Payne's a senior receiver. He's been around and made some big plays for this team over the past few years. I remember him in a couple games last year, really showing up, one against PHS that we had a chance to call, Tommy. But when you look at this is a team that you have 3 minutes, 25 seconds on the clock. Tate's in no rush. They're playing this last drive for keeps, up by 4 points. But it looks like West Florida's not going to make it easy. And with a huge stop, that's going to bring up now 4th down.
Orlando Tompkins had nowhere to go on that. And it's West Florida here that wants the timeout. They're about to get the ball back. It's 4th down and about 3 yards, maybe actually probably closer to 4 yards that the Aggies are facing right here with 3:10 to go. Now this is a situation West Florida could end up getting the ball back after the punt in fairly decent field position.
I think that's also a sign of respect to how good Evan Lagasse is, because you don't call a timeout with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left unless you feel like you're going to have to move the football a good distance. And in this case right here, if you have your typical punter, you expect to get the ball back in Aggies territory. But with Lagasse, you could have a 50, 60-yard punt and be back there at your own 30.
We have Ricky Van patrolling the sidelines. What do you got for us downstairs, Ricky? We'll get to Ricky in a little bit. So Evan Lagasse will be punting here on 4th and 4-ish. Return man's back at the 40 for West Florida. Lagasse has a strong leg. High snap, gets rid of it. They were going after him. Ball's going to land and take a bounce and die right about the 48. So West Florida will get good field position.
For having 4 guys coming in your face, pretty solid punt. It might have only been about 35 yards, but overall, that's a lot better than it getting blocked back in the end zone, and it's either a safety or 6 points the other way. That's one thing you got to give both these teams credit here tonight. They've both done a great job of making sure not to turn the ball over or do anything stupid in order to give the other team a chance for a big play.
Standing room only crowd tonight here at Woodham Middle School. Ricky Van's on the sideline. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, guys.
Oh, never mind.
We're walking over. No, we're here.
Oh, no, she's there. I hear her. She's about ready. Okay, how about now, Ricky? You down there?
We are down here. Hey, Kendall, come walk with me. Look how many people are out here tonight. Come on. Look at the stands. Check out the stands. And then if we go all the way to the end zone over here, it is packed all the way around. So we have a full stadium and a full end zone. It is packed here. What a Friday night rival. Back up to you guys.
Looks like you've got the good seat down there.
They throw us as far away from the crowd as possible.
Yeah. Well, they don't want anybody to overhear.
We're actually doing this game from the parking lot, actually.
It's going to be second down and 10, by the way, for that first down play. I was too busy looking at the crowd. I missed what happened. It is a good crowd, though. Packed all the way around. Good rivalry between these two. A couple of defending district champions in this one tonight. Swing it out right side. That's a live football, folks. They're going to lose yards. Looks like they're going to say that was a backwards pass.
I mean, I don't know if I totally agree with that, but at the same time, I'm not down on the field. But it looks like they are going to lose 3 or 4 yards. That looked like it was clearly a forward pass. But overall here, when you look at this case, this is the best field position. You want to give some credit where credit's due to this Aggies defense. This is the best field position West Florida has had, Tommy, since their opening possession that they got 3 points.
And you know they want to take advantage of it. Clock continues to roll under a minute 45. Sawyer Smith probably to throw here, will. And it's incomplete. He was juggling it. It was right in the hands, but dropped by Javen Jackson.
Tough one right there. Quarterback trying to build confidence, move the football as Eric Antoine throws it over the middle, and the junior makes a nice throw. Jackson can't come up with it, and it's going to force now a punt and gives Tate and this high-powered offense another chance. With plenty of time, the clock stops on the incomplete pass with 1 minute and 34 seconds.
Still would have been short of the first down, but you chew up some big yards there. You have a chance on 4th down at that point. Instead, incomplete. And now you give Tate the ball back with about 1.5 minutes to try to drive down the field, although they've struggled to do that with the exception of their 1 touchdown drive tonight. Billy Kaiser had a good boot as last time. Gets this one inside the 20, down near the 25. Pretty good punt there.
And one thing we've noticed here is because you sort of take away that mobility with Purifoy, a guy that can beat you with his legs. That's one thing he's done throughout the year. He's a guy that can pass the ball, obviously, as their quarterback, but he also was good for about 100, 125 yards on the ground per game. Tommy, you take that away, and what this Aggies defense is doing now is they only have to bring 3 in the box, and they can go to a nickel package. They can secure that secondary, make it tougher to make the big throw. We've noticed that as West Florida's really gone away from the run game.
D. Thompson gets the carry. He picks up about 3 or 4 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5.
Nice play there by the
6, I guess.
Outside linebacker Victor Hill. He's played 12 years of football and a guy that is looking forward to getting into sports medicine.
Good carry to the outside in space. Alondo Tompkins. He's gone. Alondo Tompkins. 80 yards.
Take it to the house. Touchdown, Aggies.
Aggies with their 2nd touchdown of the game.
And just like that. Tough one there for a defense that's played so hard all night. Just ran right over him. That's a Marshawn Lynch beast mode play right there as Tompkins taking it back to the house. And that's that change of pace right there. You get Thompson, the big running back. You have Tompkins that learned from him, taking it right at him. But also you see that breakaway speed from about the 50 on. There was no chance. And the Aggies now building their lead out to double digits.
58-yard touchdown run last week, about 80 this week. Ballpark.
I'd give him 81.
Why not? And the extra point from Legacy is good. And it is an 11-point Tate advantage with only 48 seconds left here in the first half.
We're going to learn a lot about this West Florida squad after that touchdown because you're sitting there, you've kept a tough Tate team that scored 38 points last week to 7 right before halftime with 1 minute to go. And all of a sudden, one play, and now your team's down by double digits in a game where you haven't been able to move the football. We talked about it. If the Jags were going to win this game, they had to keep it low scoring. How can they rebound not only on offense, but defensively after just having the wind out of their sails with that huge run that we've compromised 80.5 yards?
You've got to regroup. And keep in mind, West Florida has the ball coming out of the half, so they'll have a chance to put some points on the board, but Overall, I think West Florida's played a pretty good half of football. They found ways to move the ball. Tate's just, they've locked down on him. And I'd like to know how many yards of offense this West Florida team has in the second quarter alone. Not many.
No, they've only crossed the 50 twice.
Legassi again puts one into the end zone.
And too good of a kick. You can see the band getting back there. Maybe they could pull an old Cal Stanford game and try the trickeration there for the touchdown. But that's not going to work when you have Legassi knocking it through the back of the end zone for a touchback.
So Eric Antoine back out on the field. He has certainly shown some promise tonight. He's also had a couple of drops that have worked against his favor tonight as well, and it's important to keep that in mind. It hasn't all just been misexecution by the quarterback.
I mean, you got to think optimistically. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, and I think the only way you can live life. And when you look at this case here, the one thing is they've been passing all night long.
Yep.
So this is not something where they have to get away from the offense they've been running. You see a lot of triple option attacks when they get down early, Tommy. They've got to try to figure things out and get against what they do best. This is a team that's going to want to throw the football, but it looks like right now, at this point, they might just want to go to halftime with the score that we see.
Marquise Ross gets his first carry of the game. I'm not sure that the clock moved on that possession.
I don't think it has.
So they maybe got a free play there. And they got the first down. So nice run by Ross. He gets it again. Ross bouncing to the outside. Dives near the 39. Picks up about 4 more yards, maybe 5 to the 39. And it'll bring up second down and 6. So nice job by Ross on the ground. See, they have the capability to run the football. And now West Florida is going to take a timeout. It'll be their second timeout of the half. And that's something that we talked earlier. That's what they did really well in the first half. They ran the ball, opened up the running game a little bit. That's how they were able to get the deep strike and pick up a bunch of huge yards down to inside the red zone. But now there's a dragonfly that just has Chet completely flustered
Apparently
up here.
he believes my hair is a nest, so.
That's not one of those military-grade dragonflies we saw earlier.
No, it is
just
not.
Just a little guy. He's harmless. But anyway, so they were able to move the ball earlier, doing that with short passes and short passes and keeping the ball on the ground. Opened up the deep ball a little more.
Tommy Thrall's last words. He's harmless, and then
you're still
take
stuck
over
on the
from that
dragon.
But no, I look at this right now, and you're looking at a team that I think after they picked up that big play, I think at first Coach Lees was fine going to halftime, complacent after that run, but then they picked up 15 yards, so it looks like now, why not? Spread 4 wide, take a chance. It can't hurt at this point being down 11.
And again, it's a short pass. This time again to the outside. And big yards inside the 40. Clock will stop on the big first down play to the outside. It'll be 1st and 10, presented by Academy Sports and Outdoor. Damon Johnson with the big reception.
Great speed.
1st and 10 at the 37. Antoine's going to spike it.
And if you can get any points out of this drive, you find a way to get 3 on the board, you're getting this back to a one-possession game.
Right.
So that is huge, just from a mindset of confidence, because you got to look at it, and not scoring a touchdown all half, if you're down 2 possessions, you're thinking to yourself, there's no way, we can't do this. You're talking yourself out of it. If you get the ball back, and even if you put up 3 here, you feel like only being 1 possession down, anything can happen.
And again, they get the ball back to start the next half. Antoine to throw under pressure, going deep, and nearly intercepted. He was looking for Jackson, but Trace Penton nearly picked that off.
Incredible play by the senior DB, Trace Penton, coming in there, because did you see that last-second speed from Jackson? It looked like if that wasn't broken up, Jackson might have been able to sneak in there for 6. So an incredible play, once again, from this senior-led defensive backs in Trace Penton. Huge play for the Aggies.
A really good play by Penton. It was a pretty good ball from Antoine there.
Absolutely.
I think he would have hit Jackson in stride. He's back to throw. Has time this time. Going deep. There's nobody there but white jerseys. The only ones that had a shot to catch that, Josh Key and Jake Henry.
And they're going for the home run. As you can tell, it looks like right now they're still a little bit outside field goal range. This would be about a 55-yard kick, which is good at any level. But when you look at it, Tommy, instead of maybe trying an out route for 6-7 yards getting into field goal range, they're going for the big Hail Mary right there. And when you have the speed of some of these receivers, you can't really fault them for it.
4th and 10. Only 4 seconds left here in the half.
This one has to get to the end zone because this will be the final play of the half.
This is it. Antoine. That's going to be intercepted. They just kind of lobbed it up there, and it is picked off by Jake Henry. A little unorthodox way to close out the half, but there you have it. It's Tate taking the lead in the locker room at the half. They lead it 14-3. Jake Henry with the interception to close it out. We'll have the halftime report. We'll also hear from Steve Nissom, the Prep Football Final Studios, and what you can expect coming up. We'll hear from Ricky Van on the sidelines in a moment. She is waiting. Yes, she is looking for Jay Lindsay, who is headed over right now, and of course he's got to feel pretty good about how the first half went. So let's send it down to Ricky on the sidelines. Ricky.
Hey, we are with Coach Lindsay leading in the first half. What do you have to say about your offense?
Offensively, I've honestly done a bad job of play calling tonight. I've taken too many shots, passing the ball, running the ball well. We're about to just get back to hard-nosed football and get after them the second half because we've had a few big plays. I just got a little too cute, but we put 14 points on the board by good runs, good blocking by the O-line.
Specifically, what's going to be your message during halftime?
Defense, keep playing the way you're playing. They're playing lights out. I mean, we've kept them on the field too long, and they've only given up 3 points. So they are playing great football. Offensively, we're just going to grind it out. We're going to come right at them.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Ricky. Yeah, it's the Aggies on top. Can't argue with that. 14-3. Tate with the lead to the locker room. You're watching Friday Night Rivals on My 35. Our halftime report brought to you by David's Catfish House and BNC Nursery. Right now it is the Aggies with the halftime lead. They're up 14-3. West Florida trying to drive down the field right at the end of the half, but fell a little short. That drive ended in a rather unorthodox interception. It looked like it was almost an intentional interception, really, to close out the half, but that's how it ended. And right now it's the Aggies with the early lead, even though it was West Florida that scored first. Let's go back down to the sidelines. Ricky Van is standing by. Ricky. Also, we will be recognizing our Alexander Shannara A+ athlete. We'll also hear from Steve Nissom in the Prep Football Final Studios. That's all coming up. A lot of other big games around the area tonight, and certainly some other big games coming up on our Friday Night Rivals schedule. Some big games remaining with these teams also. You look at what West Florida still has on tap. They've got Catholic in early October, then PHS a little bit later in October. And but right now, let's go ahead and take a look at, of course, these athletes. Not just athletes on the field, but also scholar athletes, which means they have to get it done in the classroom. And a couple recognized before the game with Ricky Van, our Alexander Shannara A+ athletes.
We're with the Alex Shannara A+ athletes of the week. We have Joshua Key and we have Tino Espinoza. 3.9 GPA, 4.0 GPA. These guys can play and they're great in the classroom as well. Great athletes. We want to award you with a nice plaque. Tommy Thrall.
Thank you. Congratulations, guys.
Thank you. I just want to thank my parents, the teachers, and all my supporters.
Thank you, Tino.
I just want to thank my parents and my coaches and my friends and my teammates. And yeah, and my teachers.
All right, well, thanks, guys. Good luck tonight. Back to you guys up in the booth.
Very good. A couple of great young men and a couple of pretty darn good football players as well as our Alexander Shannara A+ athletes. Chad, we were talking about games coming up on this schedule. One thing, West Florida certainly concerned about way things are going with Darius Purifoy. We'll talk more about that coming up, but Ricky Van standing by on the sidelines. We're told, Ricky, you down there?
I am down here.
Hey, there you are.
Payne, the principal. I love. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Doing good. Great game. But are you excited to have Friday Night Rivals here?
Absolutely. I'm excited for the fans. I'm excited for the kids. This is an opportunity. We've come and are coming a long way, so this is great. This is great.
This is your first year as principal at West Florida Tech. What are some new things you're trying to do this year?
Well, what we're trying to do is build and maintain. Some things old, some things new. We're trying to build champions. That's what we're doing. We want them to understand that this is an opportunity for them to do the next right thing. We want them to have good attitudes regardless. We want them to go to the next level doing the next right thing. And so that might not be new, but we're trying to maintain.
You're trailing in the first half. What do you want for your boys for the second half?
I want for them not to give up. I want them to understand that this is just the first half. There's another half, such as life. This is the first half. There's another half. You play until the end. Play until the end. That's what I want for them, to play until the end.
She wants champions. Yes.
Champions.
Yes. All right. Back up to you guys. Thank you.
All right.
All right, very good, Ricky. Thank you very much. The Aggies have the 14-3 lead at halftime. You're watching Friday Night Rivals on My 35. Good one going here at Woodham Middle. Welcome back into our halftime report. A lot going on around the area in prep football tonight. Here's what you can look forward to seeing with Steve Nissom and Dan Shugart a little bit later on tonight on Prep Football Final. Steve.
Some very interesting matchups for week 2 of Prep Football Final, and topping the list, Niceville at Escambia. Both district champs last year, both impressive in week 1. The Eagles have only 4 starters back from last year's state semifinal team, but they have reloaded quickly. Last week against Lincoln, running back Deontay Sheffield put up big numbers. Auburn commit Eli Stove, the wide receiver, had a punt return touchdown, and their defense looked strong as well. The Gators defense, that was the big story in their win over West Florida Tech. They have 6 3-year starters on defense, and on the other side of the ball, a big playmaker in Jabir Fry also had an interception return actually for the Gators last week. Escambia went 9-2 last year, and Mike Davis says they're better this season. Another headline game is Choctaw at Pine Forest. The Indians, state semifinalists as well last year, smoked Gulf Breeze last week. Quarterback Jake Fairley, who transferred from Fort Walton, perfect 14 for 14 in week 1, and they have some great playmakers in Chris Pickett and Richie Grant. Pine Forest showing great athleticism in their opening win over PHS. Quarterback Xavier Salisbury put on quite a show. The Eagles also playing with some added motivation. Of course, head coach Jerry Pollard still recovering from open heart surgery. Also on tap tonight, Pace at PHS, Catholic at Gulf Breeze, and a big one in Alabama with T.R. Miller hosting Bayside. Our spotlight story is on the new head coach at Fort Walton Beach, Tommy Johnson. It's a program that's fallen on hard times, not just losses, but loads of players transferring to rival schools. Johnson trying to fix it. He knows Okaloosa County well, played at Niceville where he won a state championship and went on to win a national championship at Alabama in 1992. So well-versed in what it takes to win. He brings a very engaging personality, very upbeat, very hands-on with the players. He's got the numbers way up there and trying to reverse the losing mentality that took over the Vikings program. Niceville Scott Armfield is our scholar athlete, a very impressive young man. It's all jam-packed into Prep Football Final coming up tonight, 11 o'clock on Channel 3.
Here, you want to call some stats back? Thanks, Steve. It is 14-3 in favor of the Aggies here. And we'll talk more about this one, preview the second half, and take a look at some first half highlights when we come back on Friday Night Rivals on My 35. Welcome back to our halftime show here on Friday Night Rivals. It's been a thrilling game so far with Tate up 14-3. Got some highlights queued up from the first half, and there have been a few. Tate got off to a really strong start, or West Florida, excuse me, got off to a really strong start in this one. We'll take a look at Tate first on offense.
Great stop here to start things. It was a good return, but from this point on, they weren't able to make anything happen. Would have to punt later on in this possession. This was West Florida's first drive as they were able to move the field pretty methodically up and get about 65 yards to Devin Abrams. And after Eric Antoine connecting down the field with Damon Johnson, is able to set up a big play, and that strike set up their first score of the game, which was a field goal after the Tate Aggies defense stopped them in the Papa John's delivery zone.
Yeah, they had to settle for the field goal, but they felt pretty good about themselves at that point because they went up 3-0, and then it was Tate that got their offense cranked up. Jake Henry's been tremendous on both sides of the ball. We knew he would be. D. Thompson's been big on the ground as well. He had this huge play. Thompson's just been tough to stop out of the backfield, but also, as we expected, Sawyer Smith has been a lot of fun to watch, too.
And a combination. Yeah, I mean, you look at Thompson, Smith, and not only that, it was Alondo Tompkins that later on we'll see having that big 80-yard touchdown run up the side. But here's Smith just doing a great job. You can see he's a game manager. That was, right when I say that, that's an interception. But when you look at it, this is a guy that has been able to find a way throughout most of the game to make big plays. But it's the defense, really. If we had to say the key to tonight's game, Tommy, it has been this Tate secondary not allowing anything to happen. That's about as good a coverage as you can get right there. But every guy there for this Tate defense, the Trace Pentons, the Dallas Dittos, Jake Henrys, all the guys like Connor Coughlin and guys like Dalston DeCoe have stepped up and made big plays.
Well, and I think, for as much as we've talked about Tate and their offense scoring a couple of touchdowns, here you're seeing the West Florida defense has been really good. They've been able to get to Sawyer Smith a couple of times, and they've had a couple of big sacks in this game, and they've squelched a couple of drives where it looked like maybe Tate might get something sustained.
Well, in a game that you've seen combine 9 punts, let's give a lot of credit to the special teams as well. Without the special teams, you could see a block kick. There's been some bad snaps as well that could have led to a big play. But overall, like you said, this Tate defense has come through and made so many big plays, not allowing anything downfield. And if they continue to do this, it's going to be hard for the Jags to come back here tonight.
Right now it is West Florida trailing Tate. 14-3. We are at the half. You're watching Friday Night Rivals on My 35. Aggies are up 14-3. We are at the half here at Woodham Middle School, and Ricky's standing by now with Harry Lees.
Hey guys. Okay, so what did you tell your team during the half?
I told our offense somebody's got to step up. We just challenged them. Defense has played hard. They played and stopping for the most part, gave up 2 big plays, and really it's kind of on the offense. It's our fault. We're not making plays when they give it to us. They're giving some things that I think we should be taking advantage of, and we've just got to have somebody to step up, catch the ball, make the right throw, make the right read, whatever we got to do. But we're just not taking advantage of what they give us.
Now, Antoine playing quarterback in the first half. How do you think his performance was?
He's made some good decisions at times, and he's been kind of wild when he's throwing it. We're taking easy throws, and he's throwing it all over the place. So I don't know if that's nerves or what, but we just told him to settle down. They're giving us a lot. We just have to take advantage of what they're giving us.
Moving forward in the second half, what's the plan?
Keep doing what we're doing, and hopefully, we're going to have somebody step up and make the play that they should have been making in the first half. We're just kind of, I feel like we're waiting around for somebody else to do their job, but, somebody's got to take it on themselves and start carrying this team.
Okay, well, good luck. Thanks, Coach Lees.
Thank you.
Back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Ricky. Harry Lees, I think he pretty well hit the nail on the head there, didn't he?
You cannot say leaving this game that your coach didn't give you enough plays and options to win this football game. You watch a lot of games and you leave saying, man, we didn't do enough. We didn't try to take that pass vertical downfield. We didn't try to make the big play. This West Florida offense has tried everything in the book. It's execution. At the end of the day, it's about the X's and the O's, and so far they haven't been able to come up with the big play.
See if they can come up with some of those big plays. Harry Lees talked about it. They need to come up with some of them, and we talked a couple of times there have been some drop passes. Obviously, I think it's natural. Eric Antoine getting the start, maybe some nerves. He said it. But you want your receivers to step up and make some big plays, too, for you. And I think at times there's been some big plays made on the other side defensively by Tate. We saw a play that looked like it had a chance to go for 6, but there was some tremendous defense. I think it was Jake Henry that got in there, knocked the ball down, and really prevented what could have been very easily a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give credit to this Aggies secondary for coming up with the big play. And the Aggies have gotten smart on defense. They're not bringing a lot of people that you can strike with the big play with an open receiver. They're still playing the nickel coverage as we take a look at the Vince Wibbs fan cam. 2 young fans with a lot of energy. Mama saying it's bedtime coming around here soon, but they're saying, look at that. Right up in the front. Hey, we got some other fans having a good time. Everybody.
I don't know that that's a lot of energy.
It's combined. It's a lot of energy.
It's optimistic to say that's a lot of energy right there. They were having a good time, but they're dragging a little bit at this point. I bet they'd have a lot of energy if their Jaguars could get a couple of points on the board here.
For somebody that was up at 4 a.m. this morning, that's a lot of energy.
There you go. Fair enough. Here it is. What's that time like? I couldn't tell you what 4 o'clock looks like. For good reason. 14-3. Let's start the second half. Here we go. It'll be
life switches when 4 a.m. goes from good night to good morning.
Yeah. At some point in your life, that happens, doesn't it?
That transition into adulthood real quick.
So Eric Antoine will march his offense back out onto the field as the Jaguars try to come up with some offense here. Next week, we are going to be at Northview. That's going to be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
That is a fun place to go. We didn't get a chance to go up and check in on the Chiefs last year.
Tomahawk chopping out there. We'll have some fun.
Up in Century, they were state champs a couple of years ago. Gulf Breeze will be taking on the Chiefs, Dolphins and Chiefs next week.
Gulf Breeze taking on Catholic tonight, 2 high-powered offenses.
Big play on first down. Still on his feet to the 40. So West Florida showing a little oomph offensively with a big pass to Damon Johnson.
And there it is. That's the same type of plays they were doing in the first half, just the execution. And if one guy's going to get hot, it seems to be Damon Johnson. We know that Jalen Allen is going to come up with big plays, catching balls out of the backfield. But downfield, Johnson, the guy, 6 foot, 170 junior, with a lot of speed in the open space. And let's face it, the Aggies are giving room for them right now and to make the big play.
20-yard strike right off the bat to Damon Johnson to begin the second half. They go to the outside, 5 more yards on this reception to the outside. And again, it's Johnson.
You can see the Aggies defense in a coverage zone right now, but I think after 2 plays that have picked up combined 22 yards, that might change real quickly. And the coverage is going to be press coverage, I'm sure, coming up here very soon.
2nd and 5. Ball at the 45. Just past it. It's a long 4, short 5. They hand it off up the middle. Marquise Ross saw the ball a couple of times. He got some carries in the first half, and he gets the first handoff here in the second half. And he chews up a couple of more yards and brings up a 3rd down, about 3.
And we haven't heard Ross's name a lot tonight, but you got to keep the defense honest. You have to change it up. There's not any team, even you look at the highest powered offenses at any level, the Texas Techs of the world in college football, they still run the football at least 40% of the time. You can't be one-dimensional and win games all the time.
One name we haven't said in a while is Jalen Allen. Marquise Ross has taken over a lion's share of the workload on the ground. Deep ball, and it's through the hands of Damon Johnson. That was a toss-up between Johnson on that play, and I don't know who that was back there for Tate, but it was a jump ball. It was Jakarian Richardson back there, and it ended up falling incomplete, but a chance there for Johnson to haul that one in.
Good job by Richardson staying step for step there on the outside to Johnson. And not a bad pass. Gave him an opportunity to catch it, but once again, West Florida looking to move the ball quickly, and they realize, too, that the Aggies offense, led by Sawyer Smith in the second half, a team that put up 38 last week, you expect them to get a couple more on the board. So one touchdown's not going to make a difference here tonight.
So it's 4th and 3. They'll opt to punt. They've got a good punter. This is going to be returned from the 20, but not really anywhere to go for Monty Brown. He'll be wrestled down near the 20-yard line, and the Aggies will have it for the first time in the second half from their own 20.
Good job by Javen Jackson, the wide receiver, on special teams there with a good, clean tackle. And now we'll see the Aggies offense for the first time here in the second half, led by 3-year starter Sawyer Smith. A guy is one of those 5-tool players in baseball as well, and he can do just about everything.
Committed to Central Florida. Committed back in June. Hands it off. On the ground to D. Thompson. He chews up about 8 yards to the 30.
After watching my Knights lose to FIU last night, we can use them too. It was pretty bad.
You're still a loyal supporter. 2nd and 2. They sling it out right side, but it's dropped to the outside. The pass falls incomplete to Carlton Campbell.
Good pressure right up there by number 8, Miles Green, the senior cornerback, making a nice play. Had a sack last week, and Green with good coverage there on the outside.
Carlton Campbell again split out to the right. They hand it off left side. Tompkins hit in the backfield and thrown to the ground. Back near the 20. He'll be spotted at the 25. Kalia Davis, we haven't said his name a ton today, but he is a huge part of this offense and a key piece of probably the best linebacker core around.
15 tackles in week 1, and this guy is a beast in the middle. Between Davis and Hill, you're talking about a linebacking core that a lot of colleges, smaller Division II colleges, would like to have.
And now on 4th down, Tate forced to punt on their first possession. Lagasse almost had it blocked. And it'll take a West Florida bounce out near the 45. Lagasse under a little pressure there, but got rid of it.
He hasn't had the best snaps here tonight, but he's done a great job of making it work, and this is one of the best kickers in the area.
Brings up an Academy Sports and Outdoors 1st and 10 as West Florida takes over just shy of their own 45-yard line.
And we know what this West Florida team's going to do. They're going to continue to try to strike deep. They've been doing it all day. 4 wide here, 1 running back, and they're going to try to take that deep threat down the field.
Over the middle, complete to Jackson. They have the first down to Javen Jackson out of the 40. They're giving him a lot of those passes, seems like, underneath.
Well, right now, you can see this coverage by the Aggies. They're in a zone read, and they're allowing them to have space. Basically, what they're saying is, okay, after what we saw in the first half, we're going to make the quarterback be decisive and beat us with his accuracy. That's what they're saying. They're not going to allow the big strike. What that defense is set up to do, Tommy, is make you throw 5-6-yard out routes instead of trying to take the big strike. And we've seen it. When they've tried deep, Tate's already had 2 or 3 interceptions tonight. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to say, okay, you know what, over the next 20 minutes of this game, we're going to allow you to pick up 5-6 yards here and there, but we're not going to allow you to get right back in this game with 1 play.
Incomplete pass to Devin Abrams brings up 2nd and 10. Again, 4 wide. They've had 4 wide all night long. And again, Antoine under pressure, forced to throw, got away from 1 tackler, gets rid of the ball, but it falls incomplete over on the sideline.
Both of these offensive lines tonight, the big guys up front never get enough credit, and I'll tell you, there hasn't been a lot of sacks, and these are 2 defenses that were in the tops in the league the last 2 years in sacks per game. So give a lot of credit up front. Like we said, it's more about the execution right now of the throw, not about putting a new quarterback in Eric Antoine on his back.
A lot of guys on that offensive line, and it all starts with their center, Braden Richardson. Back to pass, under pressure, and a huge loss all the way back to the 43-yard line. Alante Thompson, one of the first one to get in there and make the big stop.
Like you talked about earlier, one of the strongest kids on the team, and that senior had a lot of speed on that play. Nice play by Thompson, the brother of D. Thompson. Between that family, that's one you don't want to meet in the wrong place. They both are 2 strong guys, and the quarterback right there, and Eric Antoine learned the lesson.
He's such a good athlete, too. He was a running back last year. They moved him back to defensive back this year, and or defensive end, and he is expected to thrive in that role again. He played a little bit on defense last year, but not much. Oh, a very short punt. It's touched. It's a live football. Tate's going to return it. What could have killed him? Could turn out great. Down inside the 15. Travis Stanton with the return. Something that looked like was going to be a costly mistake. Tate touched it early, the ball was live, and Stanton picked it up.
And you're not reading that wrong. He is a defensive line. He's not going to catch too many unless it's a pooch punt. But in that case right here, as you can see on the Bob Tyler Toyota replay, the kick not too good off the side of the foot. And jumping and trying to catch that one coming over there for the Tate defense was number 27 on that play. Was Jakarian Richardson, but just couldn't get the ball. And nice play and a good idea to take off. Stanton picking up a huge play and bringing it down to the Papa John's delivery zone.
Fumbled snap, but Tate falls on it. So they'll lose a few yards on that play. Speaking of the Papa John's delivery zone, don't forget, 2 large, 2 topping pizzas, $7.77 each. You just use promo code RIVALS when you check out at Papa John's.
Well, for a game that's been pretty smooth the last couple plays, not so much. Right. And right now, if you're Tate, the last thing you want to do, especially now, at worst, you're looking in the delivery zone to get 3 points. You got a great kicker. You don't want to turn the ball over.
Man in motion, but instead they give it to Thompson. And D. Thompson is out to the 15-yard line. They pick up a couple of yards there, bring up 3rd down. They're still about 6 yards or so shy of the 1st down.
The confidence you have in your defense, if you're Tate right now, over 2 games, really we've only seen 2 drives that teams have scored on them. Last week, an 80-yard touchdown pass was the only thing that kept them from a shutout against Biloxi. And in this game, the first drive was the only points, the 3 points West Florida had. So at this point, you got to trust your defense to make sure that you're looking pretty good right now.
Smith looking to the end zone, but the pass falls incomplete. He was trying to get it in the corner to Jake Henry, but just out of his reach and out of bounds.
Not a bad idea right there to the back pylon, and a nice chance, but just out of the reach, like you said. And Henry was not only fending off receivers, but fending off the concrete about 3 feet away.
It's always a little nerve-wracking with those paved tracks so many of the schools in the area have, and
it's not a trampoline.
Pretty close to the field, yeah. It can be a little disconcerting at times when somebody's laying out near the track. So they're going to attempt the field goal. Evan Lagasse on. This would be about a 35-yard attempt. 34-yarder. Up and through. Lagasse gives the Tate Aggies a 14-point advantage. Under 6 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. 17-3. Aggies. They have scored 17 unanswered since West Florida scored first with a field goal in the 1st quarter. It has been all Aggies since. You're watching the Friday Night Rivals on My 35. Aggies trying to improve to 2-0. West Florida only lost 2 games all year. They are in danger of losing their 2nd straight to start the season. Just like last year, West Florida lost their season opener. This kick is going to go out of the end zone. It'll be another touchback, and West Florida will have it, trailing by 14 from their own 20, but they lost the opening game last year, rattled off 9 wins in a row after that, and didn't lose again until they were in the regional semifinals. They lost in Tallahassee, a tough ball game over there. Of course, they are trying to avoid losing to Tate 2 years in a row.
You know, Tommy, you lose your best offensive player, Nadarius Purifoy. This is the last defense that you want to play in your first week without him. This Tate defense, like we talked about, there's only been 2 drives all season long where they've been scored upon. And this is a game right now where Eric Antoine, he's got a good arm. It's just going to take a little bit of time to build the chemistry with these wide receivers. And I think he's done a better job in the second half. The only problem is it hasn't led to any points yet.
That's kind of, as we said earlier, it's been very bend but don't break. Jalen Allen hasn't been in there much lately, but we see him again here on the ground. He picks up a couple of yards, and it'll bring up 2nd and 8. So he gets 2 yards on the ground. You look at what's coming up for West Florida, too. Their schedule doesn't get much easier. They have Cairo in Georgia, so that's a long bus trip. That's a long travel, never an easy trip to make. And then they have Mosley back at home in a couple of weeks. Hand it off up the middle. Allen out near the 30.
And at this point, you can see the Jaguar offense trying something new. And you're having a Tate team that is backing up. They're allowing them to run the football and trying to pick up a couple yards. But this is going to be key right here, third down, because that's the last thing you need, is to get the ball back after 3 points from Tate and not be able to go and move the chains at least once.
They're looking at Jalen Allen over in the sideline. Hope he's okay. And Marquise Ross back in. Ross gets the carry. Across the 30. Ross has the first down. Dragged down from behind to the 45.
Best run of the night from nicknamed Tubbs by Coach Harry Lees, Jalen Allen, and a guy that just continues to move the football, and a nice run there. Actually, that was Marquise Ross on the run, Jalen Allen number 1. So Ross and Allen doing a good job here tonight, but that was Ross, the 5'8 junior, on the run.
Still looking at Allen over on the sideline. Hope he's okay. Back to pass. Antoine throws, and in and out of the hands. Again, another chance there for Javen Jackson, but he dropped it.
Execution once again. The throw is there. Just got to catch a break.
Second and 10, ball at the 45.
One thing we have noticed is from the first half, Eric Antoine has gone to the left-hand side of the ball, so he's changing it up a little more.
They fumbled the exchange with Marquise Ross, and Antoine just has to fall on it.
Ross was looking back as to say, hey, look, that's a read option play right there. You got to be able to keep the ball. That's one option that we haven't seen. We've only seen Antoine take off once for a run, and it was more for a scramble, trying not to be sacked. That's a play right there where with Purifoy, you can see that read play, and you might pick up 15 yards on the ground.
Jalen Allen still limping around on the sidelines for West Florida. Back to pass, hit as he throws. It's a deep ball, and it's hauled in out at the 20-yard line. A huge completion to Devin Abrams.
What a catch there by the 5'10 sophomore receiver. Not their tallest receiver, but he got up on that one. As we take a look at the Bob Tyler Toyota replay, great pass once again, going downfield and coming up on the sidelines, having to keep his feet in bounds. What a play there down the sidelines by Abrams.
Pulled it in at the 25-yard line. West Florida tried to drive here. First and 10 from the 24 of Tate. Inside give on the ground to Malik Jenkins. He picks up a couple of yards. Bring up second and 8.
You still have 15 minutes left in this ball game, but at the same time, if you're West Florida, I think you feel you've got to come up with 6. You've got to score a touchdown on this drive. And I think if you're Coach Lees, that's what you're going for. I don't think you're going to be settling with a field goal. You haven't had too many opportunities. They've only been in the Papa John's delivery zone one time here tonight, and they were able to get 3 points. So in this case, got to try to find a way to just execute one of these big plays.
Jenkins, the motion man, as the pass goes through the hands, too high for Devin Abrams. Slinging it out to his left side, but Antoine showing the arm strength, just doesn't have the touch right now.
And this Tate defense is playing off, like we said. They're allowing the throw right now. They don't want the big play across the middle. But these receivers for West Florida are getting space, and I think that's a lot of credit to the speed and versatility of this receiving core for the Jags.
Goes back to what Harry Lee said at halftime coming out of the half, really, was that they've given them the plays. They have to take advantage of the ones they're given. Intercepted. This ball is picked off and going the other way. Monty Brown dragged down past the 40-yard line. As West Florida looked like they were driving, Monty Brown gets in there and jumps the route before getting tackled by Damon Johnson near the 45.
Great read there by Brown. That pass over the middle intended for Johnson, but Brown all over it. Now, good job by Johnson not giving up on the play and running him down to the 45-yard line. But a big play, once again, as we've been saying all night, for this Aggies D.
First and 10 from the 40 for Tate. Aggies 17-3 leaders right now. And the handoff goes to Alondo Tompkins. And you can see a little frustration on the part of West Florida as they push him back. after his forward progress was stopped. Victor Hill in there. Part of that stop for the Jaguars. They'll get a couple of yards. It'll bring up 2nd and 8.
And after that big interception by Monty Brown, this is where you're going to see Tate's going to start to look to eat a little clock. You're going to see a running game that has been very effective all night with Thompson and Tompkins continue to eat a little clock, but that only sets up a big play down the field, and there's Smith looking on an outside pass to Reggie Payne, who came up with a huge 30-yard play down the field in the first half.
He had a big reception, hasn't been targeted a ton so far tonight. That'll bring up 3rd down and 9. Tate leading it 17-3 inside of a minute left here in the 3rd quarter. Smith out of the shotgun. Pocket breaks down, and he is tripped up back at the 45. And it was Javen Jackson that was able to trip him up and get the stop back near the 45, so that brings up 4th down. It's about 15 to go. And Tate will be forced to punt it away here.
Jackson's done about everything. Wide receiver, special teams, and now coming up with a big sack. In 5 years, he hopes to have a degree in computer engineering and has already began working on his own business. So Mr. Versatility, not only on the field.
Evan Legassi back to punt. And now a flag flies. We have a delay of game as we reach the end of the quarter. So they're not going to end the quarter yet.
You can't end the quarter on a penalty here unless it's declined, and I think in this case.
Snap, delay game on the offense. 1 on time down.
Yeah, you can't end the quarter on a penalty unless it's declined, so they're going to have to kick it away right here. But it doesn't really affect you, especially with a guy like Legassi. That gives you 5 more yards to work with. So you expect this kick to be probably down inside the Papa John's delivery zone. And it's going to be a long drive if that's the case for West Florida. But they're keeping it in this game on both sides.
Right.
We got to talk enough about this Tate defense and what they've done all night long. But on the other side, West Florida Tech, it's very easy when your offense isn't putting up points and you're on the field a lot to give up, and they have not at all.
No, they certainly have not. It's been an impressive showing. Of course, they're going to grow a little more from this point forward. Good snap for Legassi to handle. And the punt bounces right at the 20. And there it goes, inside the 10, and it'll come to a stop right on the 5-yard line.
So you don't take that 5-yard penalty, that rolls in as a touchback, just saying.
It is 17-3. Aggies have the lead on the Jaguars. That brings us to the end of the 3rd quarter. 4th quarter comes your way next. You're watching Friday Night Rivals on My 35. Fair catch was called for and caught after a repunt. Again, 3rd time's the charm. So the Jaguars will have it from their own 20. With more on the injury to Jalen Allen, let's go down to Ricky.
Hey guys, well I just talked to the athletic trainer. Yes, you did see him limping, but he is okay. The athletic trainer, Christine with Andrews Institute, says that he is okay. So he is out there playing. Actually, coaches just told me they're impressed with how he's running this half. So I guarantee he'll be out there more and running more if they like how he's playing. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks Ricky. Well, we'll see how much he's in there on this series. He's on the sidelines now as West Florida begins this drive. Right through the hands. Incomplete pass to Malik Jenkins. Brings up 2nd and 10.
Even if that play was caught, it was probably going to be hit in the backfield for a loss. Good job right there, press coverage by this Tate defense. And they haven't allowed anything down the field, and that's not easy to do against the Harry Lee's offense. This is a team that is known for making the big play. They've done it throughout the year. You want to give so much credit to this Tate defense, and they're coming through. They're allowing 5-6-yard plays. They're saying you can beat us with a quick slant, but we're not going to allow you to beat us with the big throw.
Nearly intercepted again. Monty Brown has had his hands on the ball a lot tonight. He's been everywhere, and that one right in his chest. He's frustrated he didn't catch it. he was the only one around to make the play.
And right now, Antoine has to find a way to build back his confidence. As you can tell right now, this is his first game back out on the field for the injured Adarius Purifoy, and he's trying. He's doing everything he can right now, but he's just not on the same page with this receiving core here in the fourth quarter.
Murray Washington sent out a formation out wide. He replaces Mike Moore under pressure, and flags fly. Antoine sacked back near the 15.
Good job by Caleb Campbell of coming in there, number 63 for the Tate defense, as well as number 57, Evan Allen, the 5'10 junior defensive lineman.
So penalty will go.
Personal foul, face mask, defense. Result of the play, first down.
I bet it's going to be a 15-yard personal foul face mask on the Aggies. That's what it's going to be. So this will give West Florida first down. They'll have it at the 30.
And who knows, it might be the break they needed to spark the offense. That would have set them back more than likely a deep third down. They would have had to punt. Now all of a sudden you get a fresh start and 70 yards to go down to the end zone. And let's see what Antoine does with it.
Ross in the backfield. They fake the give, swing it out to Moore, and he makes the catch out at the 38. He's down near the 39. So they pick up about 9 yards on the first down play. The junior Mike Moore on the reception will bring up second down and a yard. And again, they stay with Marquise Ross, so apparently Jalen Allen is fine. He's just not playing much now since he came out during their last series.
And you can see right now, as Eric looking to the sidelines, to Coach Lee is just trying to figure out the play call right now, but it's taken 25 seconds since the last snap, and big play down the field, just not on the same page. Right now, like you said, I think this is a team that when we see them 4 or 5 weeks down the road, I think you're going to see a completely revamped looked offense, a team on the same page, but they've had to learn a lot with Purifoy going out in 1 week, and you can tell on there. They're trying everything they can. Like Coach Lee said, it's about the execution at this point.
Good coverage again by Jake Henry. So that pass fell incomplete, so it's now 3rd and 1. Still going deep here. See if they are here on 3rd and 1. They tried it on 2nd and 1. Tried to draw Tate off sides. Instead, Antoine keeps it and has the first down. Out to the 45 where he's dragged out of bounds by Dallas Ditto, senior leader of this defense.
And that's a way to get your team energized, keep those legs chugging, and moving it up for an Academy Sports and Outdoors 1st and 10. Not giving up. That's one thing that you're going to earn the respect of your offensive line. Everybody out on the field is going to want to play 110% for you if you continue to battle. And Antoine's one of these quarterbacks. Made some arid throws tonight, but that's a huge play right there to spark the energy that is needed in this offense.
Antoine, a quick throw to the outside. He completes it to that's Javen Jackson, the reception to the outside. And they're across midfield. They pick up 7 yards on that first down play. It's 2nd and 3. So they're just moving down the field, picking up short chunks of yards.
At this point, what you want to do is just give your team a chance. If you can get the ball in the end zone here, you make it a 1-score game, and just give your team any chance for a pick six, something to happen. You've got the home crowd. They're pumped now. You're moving the football here. And remember, this was all sparked by that 15-yard face mask call, which would have made it about 3rd down and 25. So West Florida still with the chance here. It's going to bring up a big 3rd down here. And you expect at this point in the game, with only 3 points on the board and 9:41 remaining, Tommy, this is 4-down territory.
He had Javen Jackson, but the throw was too high, and probably a little too hard. Couldn't get it down. He had been going with a series of high percentage passes, though. And then that one, even still, probably in that category, but just a little too much on it. 3rd down, about 3. They're at the 47. Antoine fires it up for grabs, and it's incomplete. I think Damon Johnson got tangled up with the corner there. Good coverage from Monty Brown. His senior year and his first year as a part of this Tate program. It's 4th down. Still 3 yards to go.
Based on that throw, you can tell this is 4-down territory because they tried the big strike on 3rd down. You don't do that if you're going to punt on the next play. And this one, you're going to look for more of a slant up the middle. Watch for the slant pass in the middle right there around the 40.
4th and 3 from the 48. They're in Tate territory. Incomplete. Batted down by Alante Thompson at the line of scrimmage.
And the Aggie defense will take over, up to the task once again. And that's just a defense that has been poised all night on the road. Alante Thompson, the defensive end, putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. But one thing we've noticed throughout the game, you can see there, they were lined up 3 wide on the left-hand side, almost as a decoy, because once again, Antoine going to the right-hand side to the one receiver. So Tate wasn't fooled. They were trying to say, okay, you know what, we want you to try to think we're going left, but once again, as he has all game, trying to go to that right side, and this defense has been all over that. Very intellectually sound throughout the game.
Tate takes over on downs, and Sawyer Smith throws the outside, completes it to Jake Henry for a pickup of 7 yards on the first down play.
Henry, the younger brother of Cody Henry, who was a star at Catholic High School, who went on to play baseball at Alabama.
After the 6-yard pickup, 2nd and 4. Smith hands it off. But Orlando Tompkins just ran into a brick wall. He was lit up pretty good by Corey Marino, junior linebacker.
This is a great job. I mean, regardless of the outcome of this game, because it's going to be tough right now, just saying it how it is with 8:39 left for the Jags to come back here tonight. And really, at this point, they're going to have to put up more points than the Tate team has allowed all season.
Right.
But at the same time, both these teams have played with passion and heart, and you can see this defense, just them applauding, clapping, they're not giving up. And for one big strike outside of a Tompkins run, this has really been a defensive brawl back and forth.
Smith throws it out of bounds, looking for Reggie Payne on the sideline. It falls incomplete. The one thing I'll look at, too, is in a game like this, if you're West Florida, you want something that you can build on heading into next week. They've got a tough battle with Cairo up in Georgia. It's a long drive, so that's going to be a tough week next week. So you want something that you can build on moving forward. You're in the games. You've got one every week now, and they pile up on you in a hurry, so you can't let things get away. I want to thank our friends at Papa John's providing pregame meal today. Oh, look at that. I can tell you that was delicious. It was piping hot.
You see that pepper in the corner? That's what I got. But it was very good. That's what happens when you show up late. But
who's that shoving
look
food
at
in his
those
face?
Look at that guy right there. That's why there was just a pepper left. I can see now why.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
And he rubs it in, too, as well at the end with that little smirk.
It was piping hot right there, too. I know that was about 45 minutes before you got here. But, I mean, it was so good. Cheese, melted, fresh ingredients. Oh, you could.
Tommy, I think these defenses are playing so well. After the game, why don't you show us some offensive hitting drills with them if you would like to go out there?
Yeah.
I'll set it up.
That'd be great. That'd go over real well. No pads either, right?
No, don't need them.
Evan Legasse's gonna punt it. And he's had some good boots tonight. This one looks pretty good. Fair catch called for down near the 15-yard line.
Nice catch there.
Jenkins is going to fall on it. 8:06 left in the ball game. Tate up on West Florida, 17-3. Friday Night Rivals next week. We're going to be at Northview, 7 o'clock kickoff, as the Chiefs welcome in the Gulf Breeze Dolphins. As you mentioned, a couple of high-powered offenses there. That's going to be a lot of fun next week. That might be you and Josh again next week. We'll see.
Why, after the hitting drills that you have to?
I might not be able to. I might not be functional. Zip it out to the right side. Plenty of padding here as it's cut up field. He was back in there now. Missed some time with Jalen Allen. He's been in and out. He's been limping a little bit, but gets out to the 30 on that first down play as he picks up 15.
for a guy that's been limping on the sidelines, didn't look like he was worried too much about contact there, as he took about 4 people bulldozing over the Tate defense. And nice play there from Allen. If they're going to win this football game, come back here tonight with 7:48 left, they have to get Allen, probably the missing key now that Purifoy's out.
Yeah, he's tough. Wide open over the middle. Good pass, and it's complete. Huge yards. Across the 40 to the 30. Out of bounds on the sideline near the 25. Tino Espinoza on the reception, getting a chance offensively here.
Well, as we take a look at the Bob Tyler Toyota replay, now the bad news here is the refs are calling this one back, but Espinoza is their defensive back. And you know what? This is being an innovative mind. The defensive back gets out there. The wide receivers have dropped a couple passes over the middle and say, you know what, let's get the ball into Tino's hands, and he comes up with the biggest play of the night. The problem is this was a hold.
Legal block
good back.
On the offense. 10-yard penalty, still first down.
So instead of a huge gain deep into Tate territory, they'll lose 10 yards.
A hold, or in English terms, an illegal block. There you go, as they move it back. And that's a heartbreaker right there, because they've been running that play probably 20 to 30 times here tonight. They've been doing that over the middle, that pass, and finally they executed the pass. The perfect way.
Well thrown by Antoine, and it comes back. Yeah, that's frustrating. Certainly discouraging. Antoine on first down. Zips it out to Damon Johnson on the sideline. He's dragged down to the 21 by Shakir Campbell, who also wears 21. The guy I was talking about earlier worked hard in the weight room, put on 50 pounds from his sophomore year to his senior season. Much bigger guy now than he was a few years ago, but boy, he worked hard. Turned himself into a gym rat, and he's going to be a big part of this Aggie defense moving forward.
Making that transition, gaining 50 pounds the right way, working hard, eating right. I've gained about 50 pounds as well, but it's not a process that I would condone to any kids.
Over the middle, Damon Johnson hauls it in as he gets hit by Jake Henry from behind and dragged down near the 37. Still not enough for a first down. It's third down. And they're short about 4 yards. Still need about 4 more for the first down. Nice pass. We get a look at our Bob Tyler Toyota replay. Had to go up to get it, but nice job by Johnson.
Antoine's throwing a nice spiral tonight. Just as he builds the chemistry with the receivers, he's going to become a pretty solid quarterback.
This one to the outside, and it's close to the first down. Finds Devin Abrams, who dives across the 40 and looks like he picks up the first. We'll see if they give it to him.
I think the crowd realizes this is the drive right now if they're going to want to keep themselves in the game. They're all standing, got the band playing, and this is going to bring up a close 4th and inches here. So the big play, make or break one right here, because you expect now, even with 3 timeouts, if Tate gets the ball back, Tommy, it could be curtains, but it looks like Harry Lees is going to talk this one over for about a half a second as he's now calling the offense back out in the field. So I don't know, they're going to talk this one over. Yeah, check this one for a measurement, which will now give the Jaguars offense a chance to talk this one over.
I think that's why Harry Lees wanted the timeout initially, was so they could measure, and now we'll see it. It's awfully close to the first down.
So they're going to look over the measurement. From up here, it looks like it's going to be about a half yard short right there.
Short.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking inches shy of the first down.
Maybe deflated PSI right there, 0.5.
I don't think
all these balls were checked before the game properly.
Hey, you went
out there. This isn't like my Patriots.
We're checking them. Yeah, if they get away with anything, anyways. It's not like they were going to get in trouble. I mean, they tried. Roger Goodell, despite his best efforts. So it's going to be 4th down and about an inch for West Florida, trying to pick up the first down here. See if they put it in the hands of Allen.
With 7 in the box, but they're always keeping this defense on their toes with 4 wide.
They just keep it up the middle. Antoine dives forward.
And it looks like it's going to be short. Yeah, what a hit right there. Coming in and making that play. Nice play by The Tate defense, number 46, Dalston DeCoe, the senior defensive lineman, tore his labrum the first game last season, missed most of the season, played hurt, but came in with a huge stop right there for this Aggies D. They'll do a measurement, but Tommy, from up here, it looks like they actually probably lost
I think
a
they
couple
lost
inches.
a few inches, yeah. I think they're shorter than what they were the last time around. And the Aggies will take over on downs. So Tate will have it. 17-3, the Aggies up by 2 touchdowns. Week 2 of Friday Night Rivals on My 35. On the first down play. And he is down near the 20, close to the Papa John's delivery zone, but they'll spot him at about the 21. Harry Lee still disgusted with his hands on his hips over on the sideline for West
Tompkins, a great change of pace back. He's had 4 carries this year, Tommy, for over 25 yards. And he's a guy that continues to move the ball down the field. You give it to Thompson, carrying most of the load, and then Tompkins comes in already with an 81-yard touchdown here tonight.
Sawyer Smith is out of the shotgun. It'll be first down and 10 from about the 21. This will get him inside the Papa John's delivery zone. Keeping those legs churning. Ends up with about 5 yards after all is said and done here. Again, Alondo Tompkins. Now they're in the Papa John's delivery zone, and I can tell you about what that promo code Rivals will get you. By the way, there is an injured player down. Hopefully this is nothing serious, but training staff out there to take a look. So they are looking at his leg, it looks like.
It looks like that is
a lot of pain.
Defensive end Gabe Hance. Now I can't see exactly, but it looks like number 62 down there, the junior. So we'll see in a few seconds, but he took a big shot right there, and it looks like now getting up as now it's
that looks like
number 52 right there.
Yeah.
Javante Deloach on the play. So sorry, Gabe, you're okay on the sidelines, and looks like Javante Deloach.
So he's walking off under his own power, which is a good sign. Gives Harry Lees an opportunity to get a couple of more closing remarks in with the officials, who he's been upset with now for a little while, since his team's last series. But anyways, at Papa John's delivery zone, promo code Rivals, it gives you 2 large, 2 topping pizzas for $7.77 each.
Great deal.
It is a tremendous deal.
And they don't just do the regular toppings at Papa John's. You can do, they do the Philly cheesesteaks. They've had the hamburger pizzas, the Hawaiians. They do it all.
Philly cheesesteak is pretty delicious.
Yes, it was.
Sawyer Smith out of the shotgun, and he hands it off to D. Thompson. Tries to turn the corner, but he's chased down to the outside by Kalia Davis.
Stayed in bounds as well, so the clock will continue to run, and now with 4:26 remaining.
Looks like Deloach is going to be okay. It was just some cramps we're hearing from the sideline, so his leg was cramping up a little bit. Boy, that's a terrible feeling. And on a humid night like tonight, very muggy, makes it pretty easy to cramp up.
Bring him a big glass of orange juice. That's what my mom always said.
Orange bananas work. It was always I don't know if it really works, but that's what they always used to treat it. It's the Aggies up by 14, just under 4.5 left to go in this one. We're watching Friday Night Rivals. So we come back from a timeout for a timeout. 17-3, Tate has the advantage, 4:17 to go. Aggies running the ball, and they have a 4th down play coming up. It'll be about 4th down and about 3 to go. It's the Aggies up 17-3, and Ricky, it seems like the momentum and energy has just been sucked out of this West Florida sideline down there, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see the momentum go from how it was in the beginning to how it is right now. Defense strong, the whole 9 yards. But now what we're seeing is, just their faces. As I'm looking out at them from this perspective, it's not what we were seeing in the first half. And from the Aggie side, let me tell you, their band hasn't stopped. So
if that's for anything how they're acting right now, their band definitely has the tunes cranking. So they are pumped up on the other side.
They're pretty fired up over there, and every reason to be.
Right.
They are about to improve to 2-0. Meanwhile, West Florida about to fall to 0-2. And there's a long ways to go in the season, but not exactly the start that West Florida envisioned when the season began. I mean, they had, both of these teams really came in with high expectations. I think West Florida was hoping that they could really put together a good season, but you lose somebody like a Darius Purifoy, and you try not to let it bother you, but it's awfully tough to overcome something like that.
Absolutely, and you saw that tonight. This is a team that you did not want to face in the first week without your best offensive player. This Tate defense is one of the best in the land. They've been doing it in their first 2 weeks, holding Biloxi to only 1 touchdown, and then tonight only 3 points. They're going to go for it here on this 4th down, and the run is going to be stopped. So West Florida will get the ball back. This is a play, it might be a little bit of respect from Coach Jay Lindsey on the other side, saying, hey, look, kicking the field goal here would maybe put you up 20-3, but at the same time, I'm going to give your offense a chance, give them back out in the field.
I think the other thing, too, is it gives you a chance to work on a 4th down play. I mean, this is still early in the season. There's still plays you want to work on. There's still things you want to work on. Granted, you don't want to show up your opponent, but it gives you another opportunity to.
Well, I think, too, if they pick up the 1st down, there's a good chance with only 1 timeout left, you can milk the clock almost out. I mean, if you pick up that 1st down, the game is basically over at this point. Now West Florida still, you trust that. What that is a sign of respect for your defense, because if you're in a 42 game where it's maybe 42-28, you're probably going to kick the field goal there, so you're putting it out of reach. But at the same time, you're trusting your defense to say, even if we don't pick it up, we still have to find a way for them to march down the field twice, which they haven't done at all tonight.
Is Tate leading by 2 touchdowns. Sawyer, or excuse me, Antoine throws and completes one, and they get it down near the 40. Javen Jackson on the reception. And the Jaguars pick up a 1st down.
You're going to see a lot of heart from this team as they continue to move the football with 3:50 remaining.
Catch the highlights from this game and all the games from around the area. Prep Football Final is tonight at 11 after the late local news on Channel 3. And Shugart, Steve Nissen will take you around all the action. Back to pass. Antoine under pressure, hit, and he's going to be thrown to the ground by Dalston DeCoux. We mentioned him earlier. Missed last year with that torn labrum, but still goes out, plays hard, and he's glad to be back in there this year. He wasn't about to miss his senior year after sitting out almost all year last year in his junior season.
DeCoux with a guy, not your biggest defensive lineman, but a lot of speed and a lot of hustle. You can see coming up with 2 big plays. He was the one with the impact on that run that shut down that 4th down conversion on the last drive to secure at least 4 more minutes off the clock for the offense, and coming up with a big sack there.
They get rid of it. And the pass to Johnson. And Damon Johnson picking up all the yards they lost on the sack, but there is a flag down. And this is going to be a personal foul and roughing the passer. It looks like that's probably going to go against Alante Thompson.
And this will move it almost all the way down, I believe at this point, to the 40-yard line, as this is the best field position they've had since early in the 2nd quarter. So
they're going to tack it on at the end of the play and put it, as you mentioned, the 40. And now they're into Aggie territory.
Personal foul.
I think it's the first time in the first quarter, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's only been a few chances, few opportunities here, but
please reset the game clock to 2.
No, they've had it
5-0.
This is still a game with 1 timeout left. Even if you score, you're looking at more than likely an onside kick. So if they can get a quick strike, if they can score within the next 30 seconds, which is not an easy task, it's easy to sit up here in the booth and say that, but if they can score in 30 seconds, they might have a shot to kick it away and play defense. If they can't, this is going to be, anything can happen. We've seen crazy things on Friday Night Rivals.
Remember that Catholic game with, well, it was West Florida last year, and what, 3 scores in about a minute and a half time, maybe less? That was a wild one. trying to reset the game clock again.
Our head officials had fun today with the clocks operator.
Johnson split out to the right, cuts across the middle while Antoine tries to run away from pressure, but he can't. He's dragged down by Alante Thompson. He's just so quick once he busted through the line. And it was one-on-one between he and Antoine, and Thompson was going to win that battle.
Yeah, that's a 7th sack tonight, and that was a big one right there. And in that case right there, when you're running backwards, that's just speed, showing pure speed from Thompson, able to run down Antoine in the backfield. Another huge play by the defense. Every time that West Florida looks like they're going to retaliate with something big on offense, this Aggie D has stepped up. This is a team that is making a lot of people watching on television tonight impressed.
Tell you what, he'd be in strong consideration for our player of the game tonight. Incomplete. He had the receiver, but it went right through the hands. That's a tough pill to swallow there. Murray Washington, the attempted target. You can tell just by the way these two teams interact with each other. There's a lot of mutual respect out there.
Yeah, both these teams, not only the coaching staff, but the players, they've gone back with each other. We were talking before the game, brothers on each side of the field, and just teams that have a lot of respect. When you have so much success as both these teams have over the last couple of years, and it wasn't always there. It was about 3-4 years ago that both these teams were down in the bottom of both of their divisions and both of their regions. And you look at where they're at now in the district, not only in the district, but overall. You would say these are two of the top probably 4 teams in the area. And I'll tell you what, West Florida Tech, you just think about this game and the way their defense is played tonight, and you think if we had a Darius Purifoy, what this game would have looked like.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say it would be a little. I mean, he's just able to do so many things.
To 1-5-0. 1 minute, 50 seconds on the game clock.
The things he can do with his legs in addition to his arm, I mean, he is a dangerous weapon. And I think you're right. I think this game, there's a chance it could look a little different. I will say that I thought the West Florida offense came out pretty energized to start the game.
I mean, they're still trying. This is not a team where you look at it at the end of the day and you said, okay, we didn't take enough shots to win the football game. They've done it. I mean, you watch these passes, they've been trying this all game long. I mean, this is the type of way where with execution, they could have 50 points by now. But the difference is this Tate defense has just not allowed anything to happen tonight, and they also know their boundaries. They know that at the end of the day that they're not executing on the pass, so that's why they're giving them the distance. They said, okay, you know what, we're going to give you 5 to 10 yards off because you haven't done it to us yet. It's like that guy in open gym that's in the corner. You might allow him to shoot 1-3, but if he makes 4 or 5 in the row, more than likely you're going to have 2 guys up in his face.
Game clock, please, to 1-4-5.
And that's what they're saying. You've got to beat us here tonight before we're going to allow you to try to run the football and do the things that you might want to do throughout the course of the game. Obviously, our head official is having fun tonight with.
I think they have a new scoreboard here.
I think so, yeah.
And I think that is, it's a learning curve. Short pass, tipped and incomplete. That was a 4th down play. The Aggies are going to take over again on downs, and they'll have the opportunity now to run out the clock. So the Aggies will improve to 2-0. West Florida will fall to 0-2. Certainly not how the Jaguars envision this season going right out of the gate. They played Escambia tough last week. That was a tough one to lose. That's always a pretty tough match, especially that early in the year. They lost to Tate to open up the season last year. They were able to bounce back from that, but back-to-back losses to start the year. There's still a long ways to go in this one, but that certainly makes it tough.
And we talked to Coach Lees before the game, and he was he had a smirk and said, look, it's going to be a season where we're going to have to figure things out because you trust in your leader. Not only, I mean, he was the heart and soul, one of the best offensive players in the area in Darius Purifoy.
Right.
Received a lot of awards last season, and to lose him, you can't just replace a guy like that overnight. It's going to take some time to gel, and you can see, like I said, 4 or 5 weeks down the road, we're going to be reading the paper. We're going to open up and watch the highlights and on Prep Football Final and see these big plays, the execution of the plays they miss. As we take a look at the fans tonight, they've been there since the end, and at this point getting a little bit tired. It's getting late up there on the Friday, but a great crowd on hand. You can see a packed stadium tonight with our Vince Wibbs fan cam.
Yeah, it's been great to see all evening long. And Harry Lees going way out there near midfield, arguing with the officials. He's been on them for a while here tonight. He hasn't been terribly amused with the officials here this evening. He's going to take a timeout. This will be his last timeout. There he is. I'm no lip reader, but I'd say he's angry.
I think he's asking where they are going to meet if after the game for a late dinner. Yeah. Please save me a seat.
That's probably what it is, I would guess. I'll tell you what, he's done a great job with this program. And talking with Jay Lindsay earlier in the week, he has nothing but the most respect for him. They hand it off. Tate keeps it on the ground with Tompkins.
Two young coaches that we're going to see in this area for a long time, and they've built these programs. Lindsay taking over for a program that has been built over the last couple years. Ronnie Douglas was there, but both these teams, like we said, this has not been success throughout the last 5-10 years. We've seen ups and downs, but they're both at where they want to be now.
You look at who these guys have learned from. I mean, the coaching tree, very similar for both. Harry Lees, you see right there, he learned a lot from Jay Lindsay's dad, Mickey, over in Pace, coached with him for several years. And of course, Jay not only played for Harry and his dad, but also eventually coached as well with Harry Lees. It was funny, Jay was saying, I had Harry Lees as a teacher and as a coach while I was at Pace High School, and of course he played and coached for his dad a little bit as well, and so he's had some great mentors, and Harry Lees as well, and two guys that, as you mentioned, they are going to be fixtures in this community as great high school football coaches for several years to come.
Next week, the Tate Aggies, after moving to 2-0, will be off. So Tate will be off next week, and then they'll head to take on Pensacola on the 18th at home. And next week, the West Florida team will travel to Georgia, to Cairo, Georgia, on the road for a game where giving them 6-7 days to figure things out and get that offense more efficient.
Right.
Now, like you said, you left this game, they're going to talk in the locker room. It just came down to execution tonight on the plays. But you got to hand it to both of these teams for the energy and the hustle. And not only that, the sportsmanship, Tommy, they showed here tonight.
Well, that's it. The two coaches and good friends are going to meet and shake hands there at midfield. But not before Harry Lees gets in a few closing remarks. It's the line judge on the far side, I think, that he was upset with.
Save me a table.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying.
There you go. The two with a warm embrace. They are very good friends. So we will end up hearing from Coach Jay Lindsay here in a moment. We'll hear from Coach Lindsay when we come back. 17-3, the Tate Aggies winners tonight of the Jaguars on Friday Night Rivals, My 35. Tate 17-3 winners over West Florida tonight. Friday Night Rivals, Week 2 on My 35, and I think the Tate Aggies are ready to take a trophy. Ricky, what's going on?
Guys, we are with the whole team. Hey! And D. Thompson, the running back, he has some words to say. I just want to know from you, how does it feel to be the rival?
It feels good. We've been going at it with these same dudes since freshman year. So, it's good to come out here and beat them 2 years in a everybody, did what they're supposed to do. We started off a little slow, but we came out on top, and that's all.
Definitely very excited, but I have to know, are you guys ready for Pensacola in 2 weeks? All right, well, enjoy your win now. Good job, guys.
All right, thanks, Ricky. Yeah, they're pretty fired up. We'll hear from Coach Lindsay here in a little bit. They've got their trophy, and they are Friday Night Rivals Week 2 champs.
That's a big win on the road to get this, to move to 2-0, and you got to be pumped because this was not an easy game. It wasn't an easy task. Sawyer Smith, one of the best quarterbacks in the area, and he'll leave this game saying, look, I can work on a lot of things from this game.
Sure.
But overall, to get a win against one of the top teams on the road, 2 years in a row, beating West Florida, and like you said, knowing that you have that week off before you prepare for another team in Pensacola, another team that they've played a long history with, it's got to be a great feeling, especially for the first-year coach starting off his career 2-0 with the Tate Aggies.
Well, we'll hear from Coach Jay Lindsey tonight. As we talk about Tate, let's talk about West Florida. I mean, certainly some areas they can grow. I think one of the biggest things is Eric Antoine just getting more comfortable perhaps with his receivers.
It's going to take a little bit of time. He threw the ball over 50 times tonight throughout the game and was one of these guys that tried to make plays happen throughout. But it just was one of these, it's going to take a little bit of time to gel with his receivers, and not having Jalen Allen in the backfield for a big portion of that game did not help.
Well, let's talk about our player of the game. And I think tonight's player of the game, guy that did a lot, he did a lion's share of the work on the ground tonight, Alondo Tompkins had a huge night tonight.
Yeah, Tompkins, a guy that really came out there and picked up the big plays. He is our Hill Kelly Dodge player of the game, picking up a 81-yard touchdown run and another big 40-yard run in the second half, really to secure the victory. This is now 4 runs of over 30 yards he had. He had a 58-yard touchdown last week against Biloxi. And with the change of pace between D. Thompson running you over and Alondo Tompkins coming up with those huge 50-yard and above plays, this is going to be a tough running core to really stop throughout the season. But I think when you look at it, Alondo Tompkins might have won the player of the game as we take a look at here at his 80-yard scamper down the sidelines using that speed. Nobody catching him and into the end zone for one of only 2 touchdowns here in the entire night. But, Tommy, I think you're also looking at it. We could have given the whole defensive unit for Tate the MVP as well.
Well, that's what I think. I mean, as good as the offense was, I mean, they put up 14 against a really good defense. I think, perhaps more importantly, their defense was outstanding tonight. They made some adjustments defensively and really shut down West Florida and really wouldn't let them get any momentum going. Anytime they did, they'd either come up with a big turnover or get a big sack.
Yeah, I believe 4 turnovers, and they caused 4 turnovers and 7 sacks on the night. You're going to win a lot of football games by doing that. And overall, this was an incredible job on both sides of the ball. You got to give West Florida a lot of credit as well, as we'll take a look at some of the highlights from tonight's 17-3 game.
All right, yeah, let's take a look at some of these highlights from this evening's matchup. And it was, well, I think Evan Lagasse, there's one of the many balls that he booted out of the back of the end zone. But West Florida, at times, able to move the football. One of the favorite targets tonight for Eric Antoine was Damon Johnson. So, I mean, there were flashes tonight where I thought that Antoine looked really good, but overall, he just wasn't quite consistent enough.
I mean, he threw for over 200 yards. They moved the football, but every time they needed to come up with a big play, as you see here, moving it inside of the 35-yard line, but every time it looked like they were going to move it that extra mile into the Papa John's delivery zone, that's when Tate and the defense would come up with a big play. That was a great return right there, as Tate was able to move the ball with Travis Stanton, the defensive lineman, on a
yeah, that looked like it was going to be something that was going to be a huge mistake, and it turned out to be big yards. The other thing that Tate did tonight is they got a lot of pressure on the quarterback, too. I don't think they let Eric Antoine get real comfortable all night.
No, they didn't. And I'll tell you what, though, West Florida's offensive line did not play bad. They kept, for this type of game against a defense that had this many sacks, they were just putting a lot of pressure. And one of the big reasons why is West Florida's running game, it wasn't there really tonight because they were having to try to throw the ball from behind throughout most of the night. It was about 80% to 20% run, and that combination is not going to lead to a lot of victories if the passing game's not working.
Yeah, especially if your completion percentage doesn't match it. You know, I mean, you've got to be able to complete a majority of your passes. They weren't able to do that tonight. When you go back and you look at Antoine tonight, I mean, one of the biggest things I think was, would you say, just being in rhythm with his receivers? I mean, that we talked about a little bit ago, but that seemed to be one of the biggest problems for him. He overthrew a few guys. His accuracy wasn't spot on, but a couple of times it looked like maybe some timing issues.
Yeah, I think he's got to learn his 3-second, 4-second dropbacks. He's looking over here, just getting the timing down. But we've been watching these highlights, and just from these highlights alone, you can see 7 or 8 very good passes down the field. It really is coming through in the clutch, making the big plays when it counts. Moving the ball from the inside the 30s is really the key, and that play right there, you can see he's continuing to move the football all night long.
All right, let's go down to the sidelines. Ricky standing by with Coach Lindsey.
Hey guys, we're with Coach Lindsey. Yes,
great game. We expected a great offense, but what do you have to say about your defense tonight?
I couldn't be more proud of the defensive effort. You know, we kept them on the field a long time, and they just kept holding their own, and I trusted them at the end of the game. That's why I sort of went through it for it, because they just weren't giving up an inch all night long. Those guys played their hearts out, and you know, we just got a special group over there on the defensive side of the ball.
And over here on the sidelines, I noticed the momentum changed for West Florida Tech, but you guys really persevered. What do you have to say about the emotions of your team and just how they are?
I think we're just a fiery group. We sort of stay level. The thing about this group is they're somewhat experienced. There's no up and down. We just sort of stay level. You know, these kids know what's expected. They know what to do. They go out there and do it. You know, and offensively, I'm telling you what, West Tech has a great defense. My hat's off to them because they were tough to move the ball against.
Now, Pensacola is your next game. You have a week off. So how are you all going to prepare?
We're going to rest. That's the biggest thing. It's been a grind to pass. I mean, at first, whenever the schedule, I was like, man, I don't want to bye week 3. Now I'm ecstatic because we need a break. We've been going at it for a month now as hard as we can. So we're going to enjoy just resting, getting healthy, and we're going to work on Tate next week, and then we'll get ready for Pensacola High the following.
Okay, so you are expected to do great this season. What do you have to say about your team moving forward? What's the outlook?
I'm not putting any limits on these guys. I'm not going to because they play their hearts out every night. So we'll go as far as the senior group wants to go, and who knows how far that will be.
Okay. Well, thanks, Coach. Back up to you guys.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ricky. It is Tate winners by a couple of touchdowns tonight. Next week, we're going to be at Northview as they host Gulf Breeze. Should be a fun game. Always a fun environment up in Century, and that's a great program up there.
Yeah, it will be the farthest north we've been for a Friday Night Rivals game in 2 years, and we're looking forward to it. We've seen a lot of great success from this Chiefs program. They'll be tomahawk chopping against a very tough Gulf Breeze offense, a team with Coach Chris Nemeth that can move the football. And it's going to be an exciting game, which we love to see here on Friday Night Rivals.
I believe they're only a couple of years removed from a state title, so certainly an exciting game tomorrow night, next week. Of course, coming up later tonight, you can catch all the highlights from all the area games on Prep Football Final. Dan Shugart, Steve Nissom will take you all around the area and get you up to speed on all the games from around the area, including you can see some highlights of this one tonight. That's at 11 o'clock after late news on Channel 3. It's Tate coming away on top tonight, and the Aggies now improved to 2-0. West Florida falling to 0-2. Look forward to next week when we will be up in Century. Should be a fun night. Of course, it was a fun night of football tonight. Certainly saw some great teams go head-to-head. A couple of defending district champions. Obviously, West Florida still a few things to work on, but of course, they've had a lot of tough competition here to start the season.
Exciting game on defense on both sides of the ball, but Tate showing a lot of grit and a team that is going to be around, as Coach Lindsay said, as far as the senior group wants to take it, a special team that we're not done seeing make a big run here in 2015.
This is, yeah, you're right. This is going to be a fun Tate offense to watch. Of course, they're led by a great quarterback, and he did his thing tonight. Sawyer Smith was a lot of fun to watch. That's all the time we have for tonight. My thanks to Ricky Van on the sidelines, for Chad Berlante, Daniel Hemme, and everybody back in the truck. This is Tommy Thrall saying thanks for watching this edition of Week 2 Friday Night Rivals on My 35. We'll catch you next week up in Century. We head to Northview. Dolphins and the Chiefs. Good night.